Germantown, we've got a crash reported 2nd Avenue just north of Jefferson Street, then Metro Center, 65 northbound at Rosa Parks Boulevard. Hermitage, disabled vehicle. TDOT says it's 40 eastbound near Stewart's Ferry Pike. And in Rivergate, police say there's a crash 65 northbound at Vietnam Veterans Boulevard. Woodbine, police reporting a crash 24 westbound after I-440. Antioch, accident right lane block 24 westbound near the Blue Hole Road overpass. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hello, friends. Welcome in, one and all. It's the Matt Murphy Radio Show underway for another day, 7 minutes after 3 o'clock, and we thank each and every one of you for being here on this beautiful, glorious middle-of-the-week Wednesday. Is it not Chamber of Commerce weather outside? I feel like it is. I mean, we got bright sunshine here at the butt end of Music Row, at least. I don't know what it's doing where you are. I hope it's nice and sunshiny where you are. And what are the current temps? What's the current temp? Hey, Jackson.
Yeah.
Make yourself busy and find out what the current temperature is.
I've got Ken Weaver for that. Ken, what's the real feels on today's weather report?
Easy. Oh, Ken's not talking to you because you were trying to bait me into anger with that real feels nonsense. When you turn around and see him back there, you just go ahead and you let me know, and we'll find out what the I mean, you and I couldn't find the temperature with a flashlight, a compass, and a thermometer. I mean, it says 22 degrees Celsius here in my studio. I couldn't convert that on a bet. I bet
it's 76. Let's take bets.
All right. Okay, let's take bets.
No, turn your phone off.
No. I'm going to do it.
That's not fair.
No. Well, I mean, what do you think it is? 76?
76.
I think 22. I think is 73.
You looked at your weather app?
No, I have not looked at the weather app yet. I have not. So,
hey, Ken Weaver.
Hey, Ken.
How about you boys?
What do you think the conversion of 22 degrees Celsius is? 22.4 to be precise.
68.
68. He said 68. I said 73. You said 76. All right, here we go. Celsius to Fahrenheit. Okay, 0 degree. Okay, so 22.4. 72.3 degrees.
Wow.
Hey, can I get some music there? Can I please?
You were right there, Brother Murphy.
Can I get a little music? Thank you. Just go ahead. We'll wait for it. Don't worry. Just go to the next page and then click on the thing and then pull it up and let's go ahead and get it on.
I know what he's going to play.
It was right. Murphy was right. Murphy was right. Murphy was right. Okay, get it. I know I'm number one. You don't have to tell me.
Jackson, you had a perfect opportunity to play Rocky Top.
I didn't want to do it that time. Also, I couldn't find it.
It's cooler up there on the plateau. Anyway, so we've got a busy show for you today, and we were just saying it's Chamber of Commerce out there, Ken Weaver.
What's the real feels?
Maybe a little bit cool for you. Is it getting too cold for you? You like that?
Well, it was.
Y'all, let's go. I mean, the first thing I learned when I moved to Nashville, Tennessee is it's cooler on the plateau.
Dude, that cracks me up because whenever I first moved here, Dan Thomas, and I love Dan Thomas.
He's a great guy.
He would always include the Cumberland Plateau.
Oh, yeah. You got to tell him up there on the plateau what's going on.
And I was sitting here thinking,
what the hell's this plateau?
Where's that plateau?
I did the same thing, kid. For the first 6 months I'm here, like, where the hell is this plateau they keep talking about? You might get, hey, guys, it's getting, my Dan Thomas impersonation. We're getting a little precipitation later on this evening, and it might come in the form of snowfall up on the plateau.
Yeah.
Well, hell, let's go on up to the plateau, see some snow. I mean.
But I will tell you this, boys. You know, I don't have any air conditioning in my car.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I had to roll the windows up on the way into work this morning.
Oh.
Windows up, boys.
Oh,
now, I had the vents on.
Y'all, from now until spring, Ken's going to get grumpier and grumpier.
Until he sees his shadow in February.
Well, unless they beat that, unless they beat those, that's true. I'm worried about what thought just popped in my head because I don't want to make Ken mad at me. But Ken's got a little groundhog look to him, doesn't he?
a little bit.
A little bit of groundhog.
It's the beard.
It's the whisker. It's the chin whisker.
Somebody's going to pick me up and hold me up for a bunch of drunk people to see. Looks like Ken saw his shadow.
Puxatawny Weaver.
He's been eating a lot of them sweet taters. I know Gary the groundhog loves the sweet taters on Murphy Farm. I know he does. So anyway, what were we discussing? Oh, the fact that Ken hates cold weather. But I'm telling you, this weekend, Ken will be in a better humor this weekend if Oklahoma whoops up on those Texas Longhorns.
You betcha. If we whoop up on them, you betcha.
Yeah, Ken, you are on the record as saying that you don't want it below, 78?
I like it. I like it above 70 degrees.
Okay. So we're still in the okay zone
We're in the okay
in the
zone.
afternoon hours.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I love that. If you had to pick a season, what would you go with? Summer?
Yes.
I like them all. I have a difficult time selecting because I like them all. They all come with their own unique attributes, and I like all four of the seasons. But, it's hard to beat fall because of everything that's in it.
Well, and I will say this. This fall has been outstanding.
Mm-hmm. So far.
I mean, I will say.
It's been too hot.
Well, it's been hot, but it's been doable.
Mm-hmm.
The humidity hasn't been too overwhelming.
Well, it's early.
You get off in the shade, and you're fine as wine.
It's early. We're going to get cool. I think we're gonna have a cold winter, y'all.
Well, it's here lately. It seems to hit around the hot, between Christmas and New Year's. We have one of those really, really cold spells.
Didn't we have 2 years ago? Was it 2 years ago that we had some snow on Christmas?
And we had to have rolling blackouts because TVA thought they were going to run out of energy.
It was the ice. I know we had some ice a couple of years ago, too.
They delayed the Titans game. It was 2022.
Mm-hmm.
Titans played. They lost. I want to say they played Seattle.
Look, it is one of the reasons that I believe that God called me to the state of Tennessee because I absolutely love the weather here. I love the people here for the most part, Jackson. I love the weather. I love everything about this. I love the topography. I love the Cumberland Plateau. And
you know what else he loves, Ken?
Oh, boy. See, you did.
I shouldn't have.
That's on you.
I'm sorry.
That's completely on you. Ladies. Oh, by the way, speaking of Rocky Top, because the last time I saw this song performed live, it was Neyland Stadium absolutely destroying our princess, America and the world's queen, Dolly Parton.
You heard it live a bunch September 13th.
I don't recall hearing it once.
Didn't hear it after that field goal.
All right, Ken, you just keep yapping back there. You wait till November 1st happens.
That's a Sooner in the middle of October who's undefeated right there. That's what I'm talking about.
You need to worry about Arch Manning.
Arch incompletion's what we call him. I mean, man. Anyway, speaking of America's princess, America's queen, Dolly Parton.
Yes, sir.
Pull me up over there. This is where we're starting the show. This is 2 good minutes. So yesterday, we reported that Dolly Parton's sister, Frida, I guess it is.
Yes, sir.
She was saying, hey, y'all pray for Dolly.
Yeah.
Now, Dolly had previously suspended or postponed a residency out in Las Vegas, and people got very concerned when Frida said, y'all need to pray for Dolly because, Dolly is she's been on God's green earth for a long time now, and we all love and cherish her, and we want her to be in good health. And Dolly felt compelled to respond. Here is the finest. I'm on record as saying this. Y'all know how much I love Dolly Parton and have since I was a young boy. I'm on record as saying this woman is the finest human being on God's green earth alive today. And I'm not kidding. People think I'm not kidding. She is such a fine human being in every endeavor. She is such a charitable and generous soul.
Yes, sir.
And she had a few things to say about her
Hey,
health. So.
Natalie, bring your camera over here. I want to say something. Well, today's October the 8th, and obviously I'm here doing some commercials for the Grand Ole Opry, which is why I'm dressed kind of like a country western girl. But before I got started, I wanted to say, I know lately everybody thinks that I am sicker than I am. Do I look sick to you? I'm working hard here.
You do not.
Anyway, I wanted to put
She does not.
everybody's mind at ease, those of you that seem to be real concerned, which I appreciate. And I appreciate your prayers because I'm a person of faith. I can always use the prayers for anything and everything. But I want you to know that I'm okay. I've got some problems, as I mentioned, back when my husband Carl was very sick. That was for a long time. And then when he passed, I didn't take care of myself. So I let a lot of things go that I should have been taken care of. So anyway, when I got around to it, the doctor said, we need to take care of this. We need to take care of that. Nothing major, but I did have to cancel some things so I could be closer to home, closer to Vanderbilt, you know, where I'm kind of having a few treatments here and there. But I wanted you to know that I'm not dying. Did you see that AI picture of Reba and me? Ooh, Lordy. I mean, they had Reba at my deathbed, and we both look like we need to be buried. But and I thought, oh, my Lord. But if I was really dying, I don't think Reba would be the one at my deathbed. She might come visit me earlier, but anyway... there are just a lot of rumors flying around, but I figured if you heard it from me, you'd know that I was okay. So anyhow, that's what I wanted to say, and I'm not ready to die yet. I don't think God is through with me, and I ain't done working. So I love you for caring, and keep praying for me.
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's Dolly Parton. That's pretty good.
I'm telling you, I've said this before. If I was in a room and she was to walk in, I'd pass right out.
I think I would too.
I'd pass right out.
I think I would too.
And then I'd miss her.
Have you seen the video of, people have asked me because I'm well on record as saying that, you know, my love for Dolly Parton, everybody loves Dolly Parton. I have a particular love for Dolly Parton. I think she's the finest human being walking planet Earth. I don't know that I would accept an interview opportunity with her. I don't know that I could, Ken.
Would you let me do it?
Good Lord, no. I wouldn't let you in the same zip code as Dolly Parton. My Lord, have mercy. You wouldn't know how to act?
I would
Jackson.
I would be very respectful.
Would you know how to act?
Yes. I would probably get us both fired.
You would be, you know what Jackson would be? Jackson would be Chris Farley. Y'all remember the
Oh, yeah.
the Chris Farley, when he would be the guy interviewing, it was the Chris Farley show, and he would be interviewing like Paul McCartney. Yeah. You would be, do you remember this, Jackson?
I've seen videos of Chris Farley.
I'm not saying this because you're both big fellas. I'm saying this because it would be funny. Because you would be like, you remember that time, Dolly, when you sang Rocky Top? That was cool. No, Chris Farley's like, he says to Paul McCartney, he's like, I guess it's Paul McCartney. But remember that time when you were in the Beatles?
Why don't you just pull it up on your computer?
I probably could. No, I don't want to.
I'd start talking to her about the Vols 2024 offense.
Would you?
Yes.
By the way, Dolly Parton, a known Tennessee Volunteer fan, which I would tell you is proof that there are no perfect people in the world.
Matt leaves the room 20 seconds, and I'm trying to talk to her about offensive line play from 2024 to 2025.
What would you do? You would poop yourself if she started talking about pulling guards and
12 personnel.
Right.
Yeah, split zone, screen zone.
Heupel's clock management against Georgia.
If you're in the cover two, you got to get a linebacker over, that kind of stuff.
Got to throw the seam.
Oh, my Lord, Dolly. I love you even more now. But Dolly Parton's apparently just fine. We all love her, and we worry about her, and we pray for her, but she seems to be just fine and looks very fetching. Did you see what she was wearing there, Jackson? You see the color scheme she had on? Nice. She looks really good in red and black.
She does.
Really good in red and black. All right, we've got a lot to get into today on the show, not the least of which is the 7th Congressional District race results. I would love to hear your thoughts on it. We will break it down with Michael Lotfi, our good friend from Americans for Prosperity, coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. I have a few things to say in advance of that on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. The results are in. Big takeaways for me. One, it is saying something that Matt Van Epps got this done with over 50% of the vote with 11 people in the race. Now, I understand that we could categorize some of those as also-rans, and that's just fine. I don't think anybody on planet Earth saw the face of Adolf or Adolfo. No, there was a guy in the race in the Republican primary named like Adolfo. Was he Adolf or Adolfo?
Really?
I can't remember what his name was. I have the list up here.
Tough to win an election with that name these
Well,
days.
and especially nobody could get him. I mean, I tried to get him on the radio. I wanted to interview Adolf and see what's up with his candidacy, but nobody knew who he was.
That is putting yourself at a disadvantage.
He got votes.
Yes.
I mean, he got votes. I think he got like 80 votes. I think people are just like laughing about it. Hey, I voted for Adolf. Who's Adolf? I don't know. But anyway, Matt Van Epps wins with over 50% of the vote, which is substantial. Obviously, the late voters, those that voted on Election Day, broke for Van Epps considerably. As predicted by me, the Lee Reeves people went to Van Epps. And as predicted by me, the Trump endorsement did matter, in fact. Now, I thought that Jody Barrett would be a lot closer than he turned out being, but he was not. Jody Barrett last night, we tried to find video of this. Jody had a better reaction this morning, and I will give him credit for it, and we might play a little bit of his reaction this morning. But this morning, Jody came out and said, hey, congratulations to Matt Van Epps. Well, won race. He did not go so far as to endorse Matt Van Epps in the race, but one would presume that Jody Barrett will be voting for the Republican candidate, as many other conservatives in the 7th Congressional District will, at least to those that aren't sucking their thumbs this morning. More on them in a moment. But apparently last night, during his concession speech, Jody Barrett said he didn't want to win it. He didn't want to win anyway. That's what he... That is not a good look.
I didn't want it.
That's not a good look.
Maybe he was just joking.
I don't know, kid. We were looking for
The quote sounded, I read, so the Tennessean put out the full speech in quotes, just not a video of it.
Did they?
Yes.
Do you have the full speech?
I don't have it in front of me, but I did earlier.
I'm going to find it. I'm going to find it.
It's on the Tennessean.
Okay. We're going to find it, and I'll read some of it to you because it's, I understand in the heat of battle, you've just crossed the finish line. You thought you were going to finish first. You did not finish first. And sometimes things just kind of slip out of your mouth. But our good friend, Representative Jody Barrett, apparently said, I don't want to win anyway. I want to go to Washington, D.C. Stupid. You know what? I voted for Matt Van Epps myself.
Is that what he said?
No, he didn't say that. He didn't say that.
Ken was...
I saw where
Hey, can I tell you, in the 7th grade, we were voting for class president, and I was running. I did not win. Andy Intrican won, I think. But I convinced one of the people in the race in my class that it would be rude to vote for yourself, and I convinced her to vote for me. She was running against me. And I said, I'm not voting for myself. I'm voting for somebody else. I'll vote for you. You vote for me. And she's like, why wouldn't I vote for me? I said, it'd be rude for you to vote for yourself. Come on. And so Kelly voted for me. And you know who I voted for?
Matt Murphy.
Me. I voted for me, too. I'm like, idiot. What do you want?
What was your campaign slogan?
Candy for everybody. I remember what it was.
Oh, Ken, it was more sock hops.
No. I ran on lobbying I'm not making this up. I did not win. But my big push was chocolate milk every day. Because as it stood, they only offered chocolate milk as an option on Fridays in the cafeteria. And my big campaign push was, I'm going to get us chocolate milk every day of the week, Monday through Friday.
That's pretty good.
I thought it was a pretty good platform.
Did you go to the Happy Days school?
I did not go to the Happy. I went to Norris Middle School. That was in Norris Middle School.
You said it was your high school class president.
No. I was 7th grade.
Oh.
7th grade. If I said that, I was incorrect. But I think I said 7th grade.
One-room schoolhouse?
It was not. No. Jackson. We did, you know what we did do at Norris Middle School, though? This was back when kids learned something on the playground. Well, there's a couple of stories that I could tell you. One of them's about Cecilia Cooper. Cecilia Cooper.
Ken, back then it was called Ye Old Play of Ground.
You know what? Stop by the general store, get off your horse, and have a phosphate. Have yourself a phosphate before you go home. Before you ride out in the car.
One of those tasty libations.
That's right. And maybe if you're lucky, if you have enough change left over from your 5 cents, get yourself a hard candy.
But you need a hay penny for that.
Yeah, get yourself a hard candy to suck on while you're riding a horse home.
That's right.
Why don't I think about Cecilia Cooper during this break, and we take a short time out. We'll be back in a moment on Super Talk. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy for Savory Spice. If you're looking for something delicious, if you're looking for a difference maker when it comes to your cooking in the kitchen, I would encourage you to get to Holly and David's Savory Spice. Holly and David are the owners of Savory Spice, locally owned. I love that about the location. The location's right off the square in Franklin, next to Gray's Pharmacy. When you walk in, before you even go through the threshold of the door, you will smell the delicious smells of fall, and they have them in abundance at Savory Spice. For any of your fall baking needs, for any of your fall cooking needs, whether it's cinnamon or nutmeg or pumpkin spice or whatever it might be, they've got it at Savory Spice. They have something for the cook in your life at Savory Spice. Now, if you've got a birthday or an anniversary or whatever coming up and you know that the person in your life loves to work around the kitchen, there's great gift ideas at Savory Spice. Plus, if you're just trying to stock the cupboards and stock the spice rack for the upcoming holiday season, it's time to get it done at Savory Spice. I love to say that you up your food game by upping your spice game. And the only place I would recommend you to up your spice game is the one and only Savory Spice. Go see them in Franklin today.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. I'm seeing some breaking news alerts that President Trump is considering traveling to the Middle East this weekend as negotiations between Israel and Hamas to end the war in Gaza continue. We'll keep an eye on that for you. Here in Nashville, a terrible story. Metro Police investigating the murder of a 74-year-old woman found dead inside her North Nashville home, where Channel 4 says the neighborhood's on edge now.
It's unnerving. It's unsettling because this is something that just doesn't happen in this particular subdivision and neighborhood.
Police say Harriet Edwards was discovered Monday morning by a longtime friend who hadn't heard from her in several days. Police say she had been strangled and beaten. Detectives believe the murder happened between 2:30 and 7:30 Friday afternoon. And if you were in the Chateau Valley Court or Chateau Valley Drive area and saw anything unusual, then you're asked to call Nashville Crime Stoppers. You can remain anonymous. You may be eligible for a cash reward. Right now in our nation's capital, the IRS is furloughing more than 34,000 workers, nearly half its staff, as the government shutdown stretches into its second week. And Dolly Parton's addressing widespread concern about her health following a heartfelt social media post from her sister Frida asking fans to pray for her.
I'm not ready to die yet. I don't think God is through with me, and I ain't done working.
Yeah, her sister's post has sparked rumors and speculation, especially after Dolly postponed her Las Vegas residency that was scheduled to start in December.
Nothing major, but I did have to cancel some things so I could be closer to home, closer to Vanderbilt, where I'm kind of having a few treatments here and there.
Yeah, reports are Dolly is getting treatment for kidney stones. And that's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, police reporting a crash 65 northbound at Rosa Parks Boulevard, 65 northbound at Vietnam Veterans, and East Bank. Got a stalled vehicle on the left shoulder. That's going westbound at Shelby Avenue. Hermitage, a disabled vehicle, 40 eastbound at Stewart's Ferry Pike. South Nashville, right lane blocked by a crash, 24 eastbound near Murfreesboro Pike and Rural Hill. Got debris in the left lane, 24 eastbound near Bell Road. Woodbine, a crash, 24 westbound after I-440. I'm Ken Weaver.
Friends, have you noticed it's happening? Guys, I want to talk to you specifically. If your hair is thinning, your crown disappearing, hair loss has you feeling you're losing your identity altogether, well, it doesn't have to be this way. I've got good news. An incredible, simple, one-day treatment that starts growing your own natural hair the very next day, and it's guaranteed to grow for life. It's the Advanced FUE treatment from Advanced Hair. They've seen all the pills, they've seen all the lotions, and you've probably seen them as well. They come with monthly subscriptions. Now, these may help you regain what you have, but none of them help you regrow the hair that you've completely lost. Advanced Hair's state-of-the-art facility does just that. It's not maybe your hair will regrow. It is guaranteed that your new hair will grow. You decide how much, where, and how thick. It's Advanced Hair's incredible FUE treatment. It's changed tens of thousands of lives, and I recommend them. For your free consultation, $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Call 629-348-HAIR, 629-348-HAIR, or online at advancedhair.com, advancedhair.com. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Michael Lotfi coming up to dissect the 7th Congressional District race. That's in the 4 o'clock hour. Looking forward to that. Your telephone calls, as always, 615-737-9986. Would love to hear from you. 615-737-9986. I love turning a monologue into a dialogue, and that's what you do when you call in. You can also text us on those same telephone number, 615-737-9986. Listen on our radio station, 99.7 FM. You can also listen on Spotify, TuneIn, iHeart. We're all of those places. We have our own app downloadable on Supertalk 99.7 WTN. Any place that you download music, news, information, you can download our app. And then, of course, there's Talk TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Rumble. Always available to you. Love the YouTube chat. Go over there, give us the old thumbs up. I need to I need to improve my YouTube numbers. Y'all go over there and improve the YouTube numbers. I got good Facebook numbers. The Facebook is good to me. The YouTube, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Why is Hand beating me in the YouTube numbers? Because he talks about it all the time. He's younger. That's what it is. Prettier. We do, I think, sadly, fellas, I got to tell you. I don't know. Actually, I'm trying to figure out who's got the ugliest show on the station, and I'm pretty sure it's us.
We got Puxatawny Weaver. We're not ugly.
Well, Weaver is he's the best of the bad lot here.
Well, I'll put it to you this way. Brother Dan Mandis has the best-looking show on the station because he's got Sister Joan Jones.
That's right. No question.
And not me.
And the second prettiest person on this radio station is Chris Hand.
Chris Hand's a handsome man.
Mm-hmm.
Very handsome man.
Well, doesn't Joan work with Hand as well?
Yeah, see, so...
yeah, there's a little bit of overlap.
Let me tell you. Hand's got the prettiest show. That's why he gets the YouTube numbers he gets.
Yeah, but
That's
he's got to put up with me, too, for about an hour.
Well, I mean, those YouTube numbers go... Boo. Just kidding. Those are jokes. By the way, a bunch of people are saying that I did not win the Celsius to Fahrenheit wars because I went over. Nobody.
Oh, well, yeah, that's right.
So Ken Weaver wins again.
Nobody said you got to announce Price is Right rules. Y'all got to scream it out. Nobody. No. You got to scream out Price is Right rules before we go. I would have just bet $1 if I'd have known all that. Man, when I was a kid, I used to get so mad at those people that bet $1. I used to get so mad at them. I don't know why.
Yeah,
Inexplicably.
at first I couldn't figure out why they were doing that. I was like, what do you mean $1?
Because they think everybody else went over.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a smart strategy if you believe that. And I've seen it win. What's worse, Ken, is those people when you bet $650 and I say, $651.
Or $649.99.
Well, those people are stupid. You can't win if you do that.
Oh. Maybe I don't know how this game works.
It's the closest to the actual retail price without going over.
That sounded just like Bob Barker.
Is the exact way that it has been described.
That's way to go, Brother Murphy.
So
is Bob Barker still alive?
Bob Barker is not still alive.
No, unfortunately.
He only died a few years ago.
Yeah, it hadn't been
long. Hadn't been long. But yeah, so what people would do, Jackson, is we're all down there, we're betting on something. And you bet $450 and RJ over there bets $550 and then Ken bets $650 and I think it's going to be over $650 and so I bet $651. I've boxed Ken out. Ken cannot win
unless it's $650 on the dot.
Unless he's exactly right.
On the dot.
And that is very rare. On the dot is very rare on this show. Very rare indeed. Yeah, that's right. Also, I'm making our next guest wait, and I apologize for that. So y'all know how much we love to support veterans issues and veterans more generally. And I've got a wonderful opportunity for you to do just that in Mount Juliet this weekend. My barber is Brian, and Brian's wife is Billy. And Billy is on the line to tell us about a wonderful event that's going on this weekend in Mount Juliet. Billy, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. I do need to make one really important correction.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I am actually the manager of the barbershop. I'm not his wife.
Oh, wait. I got confused. Then I got very confused, Billy. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
My apologies.
Totally
I don't want to get you guys hooked up if that's the case. I must have been very, very confused. Well,
No,
Billy,
you're
it's good.
totally fine.
Well, and Billy and I have never met. Of course, I've seen Brian plenty of times. He gives me these beautiful haircuts that I present on YouTube all the time. Billy, walk us through what is happening this weekend with the Veterans Barbecue Festival. Talk to me.
Absolutely. So we are putting on the Veterans Barbecue Festival. It is put on by actual veterans that attend a 2-day camp the 2 days prior. So tomorrow and Friday, they will be spending all day, all night, learning how to smoke meats. It's a class that they do, or multiple classes, I should say, to where they learn this as a kind of a therapeutic hobby. And it helps with, it's been shown to help with depression, PTSD, and things of that sort. And it's just kind of a new outlet for veterans to partake in, and it's kind of picked up and starting to take off as kind of a lost art in that old smoking style of using purely wood as fuel. And so they learn about the different types of woods that they can use to achieve different outcomes, flavors, and everything that they receive at the farm is free to them. So they receive a whole smoker setup, and Oklahoma Joe's provides all the smokers for all the veterans that attend the camps. It's the 6th year that we're doing this. It's our 2nd year out at Rural Hill Farm. And they present all of everything that they cook over the 2 days. They present on Saturday to the public to be able to come out and enjoy all of the cooking that they've done. And live music. They have a ton of family fun games. Like there's a place called Fad's Events in Nashville that is also helping sponsor, and they're bringing out their giant yard games like Connect Four, checkers, ring toss, Jenga, cornhole, all that good stuff. And then we also have Ryan Mundy and Robert Allen Sieben. They are both Nashville natives. They are our entertainment for the day. And then we just have a ton of other fun things like silent auctions, drawings, contests, and nobody's going to walk away empty-handed. Let's just put it that way.
And everybody's going to be full, I bet, by the end of the event, too.
So the way that it works is each veteran has their own station. And this year we have 12 veterans, so there will be 12 different meat stations alone. That's not including the sides and the desserts and all that good stuff. But each veteran has their own station, and you go around to every station so that you can try everything that everyone cooked. And by the time you hit the 12th station, you're usually ready to drop. But it is a $25 ticket for all adults, and that's all you can eat. And the kids are $10. And that's for everything, the entertainment and everything.
This is a wonderful event. It's a wonderful concept, too, that you kind of put the veterans through their paces with regard to understanding how to smoke meat, how to cook barbecue, what to do, what not to do. And then they get to present the fruit of their labor on Saturday afternoon. I absolutely love the idea. Yes. I love the concept. Tell me about some of the organizations that have been important to the event, some of the sponsors.
So Oklahoma Joe's, of course, they provide these brand new smokers. We have a volunteer come out and set them all up. They're all ready to go out at Rural Hill right now. So they're a big one for us. Lodge Cast Iron, they've been involved for the last few years, and they donate like cast iron setups for the veterans to be able to take home with their smokers. Mm-hmm. We also have Puckett's Restaurant. They hooked them up with barbecue sauces and rubs and the whole get up. We have a whole kit for them. And the same with, I don't know, can I say the A word on the air?
You can say anything you want, Billy.
Okay, so it's a company called Grill Your Ass Off, and they do the spices as well. So that is actually a company out of Texas, but they're veteran owned, and they love to be involved. We have Tennessee Craft Butcher, who has donated a lot of the meats. They're out of Murfreesboro, Tennessee. They're amazing. If you ever go in there, like, you don't want to leave ever. We've got Hermitage Bakery providing a ton of pies for desserts. And let's see who else. We got Heroes Vodka. 9 Line Apparel does all of our t-shirts, hats, all that good stuff. and of course the Man Cave Barbershop.
Of course, Man Cave and my man Brian. Well, look, the reason that I wanted to do that is that I want to give these guys a shout out. I love companies that give back to their community, and this is such a worthwhile event. And Billy, I mean, you're just speaking my language. How much y'all love veterans, how much Brian loves veterans, and how much we do on this radio show. And I'm already getting folks that are writing in saying that it's a wonderful event. They've been a part of the event over the past few years. As a matter of fact, one person said, Veterans Barbecue Camp is amazing. A friend of mine, also a veteran, works behind the scenes to put this on. Great event to support, and we absolutely love it. Love it.
Yeah, our founder, Frank Magana, he's a Marine Corps veteran, and also he was with law enforcement for a little while. He is actually the mastermind behind this. So he opened a barbecue restaurant, and his restaurant is called Hardy Hogs. But this is his baby. This is his passion, is doing the barbecue events, because he wants to be able, his long-term goal is to have camps held nationwide, and to have the opportunity to teach thousands of veterans barbecue as a therapeutic hobby, because he himself found it to be therapeutic for his own situation. He was a combat vet and everything, so he had his things. But because he was able to heal through barbecue, he wants to show others how they can heal as well. So.
Well, it's a great opportunity to get out, support our community, to have some delicious barbecue. And look, all you can eat barbecue for $25, that's worth it. And knowing that it's going to a great and wonderful cause makes it all the more special. So when does it start on Saturday?
So Saturday, it starts at 1 o'clock and it goes until 7 o'clock p.m. And I'm sure we'll stay until everybody's gone.
Until everybody gets fed. How can folks, Billy, how can folks find out more about the event and get tickets?
So they can visit veteransbarbecuecamp.org. veteransbbqcamp.org is the main website for that. You can purchase tickets there, or you can come on into the Man Cave Barbershop, grab yourself a little chop. We'll hook you up and get you your tickets right here in the chair. And
I've got people hitting me up for more information from you. I got David Corlew. David Corlew is the manager. Was the manager for years for Charlie Daniels, and David runs the Charlie Daniels Journey Home Project, and he wants to get together with you, Billy. And I've got Holly, my good friend from Savory Spice. She said it might be too late this year, but she wants to hook up with you next year to donate some barbecue seasoning for the next camp, if not for this camp. So a lot of people very interested. I want people to get out, bid on the silent auction, have some good food, have some good drink, enjoy some good music, celebrate our veterans with our local folks out in Mount Juliet. Once again, it's veteransbbqcamp.org.
Yes, sir.
Billy, great conversation, wonderful event. And if I were not out of town, I would be there. I'm out of town, sadly. I'll be in Montgomery, Alabama, but otherwise I'll be there. But I'll make plans to be there next year. And I'm sorry I tried to marry you off. I'm sorry I tried to marry you off to Brian. I didn't mean to do that.
No, you're totally fine. You're totally fine. He's a great guy.
Oh, no, Brian's a fabulous guy. And we'll see you guys very, very soon. And best of luck on the event this year.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Matt. I appreciate your time.
100%. Thank you. There's Billy. She is I got confused. I thought she was wife. She's manager. I know. I don't do my homework. She's the ops manager of the Brian's Man Cave out in Mount Juliet, where a lot of folks go to get their hair cut. And it's a great event. And y'all go out if you want to support your veterans. And she's very cute. Can I say the A word? I didn't really know what word she meant.
But I knew what she was going to say.
What was the other? What's the other A word?
I don't know. I mean, there's plenty of A words, Jackson. There's plenty of A words. I can only think of one that you might be doubtful that you can say on the radio. Right now, I'm going to say we're going to take a break, and we'll be back in a moment on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy for Tennessee Men's Clinic. The Tennessee Men's Clinic has now 1, 2, and 3 locations in Middle Tennessee. You heard me correctly. Their OG location in Midtown has been around since 2014. They've been assisting men with issues involving testosterone and other types of issues involving urology since that time. They opened up the Cool Springs shop a couple of years ago, and now they have the brand new shop in Clarksville, helping any of you within the sound of my voice overcome issues that might involve intimacy or bedroom activity. Or it could just be energy, man. If you've lost energy over the years and you don't know why, have you been checked? Have you had your T levels checked? Or other things could be involved in making you feel low energy, and it eventually will get to romantic relationships. And that's what it's all about, to prevent all of these things. Contact the Tennessee Men's Clinic at TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. That's TennesseeMen'sClinic.com, or give them a call today at 615-208-9090, 208-9090.
Metro police say a murderer is on the run after a 74-year-old woman was found in her North Nashville home, strangled and beaten to death. That's coming up at 4 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We're fast approaching 4 o'clock. Coming up just after the top of the hour news that Ken Weaver just spoke about, we will have Michael Lotfi with AFP in studio. It was going to be a nice interview. It was going to be a nice conversation about how things went in the 7th Congressional District and what we can expect in December. But then Lotfi starts disparaging my good name, character, and looks during the break there, and so we're probably going to be off on the wrong foot. I don't know. We'll find out. If we can repair this before the news is up, we shall do so. By the way, I do have a question later on in the broadcast that I'm going to ask you because I stopped by and I'm not going to tell you which carrier I currently have because I don't want to lead you guys in any direction, but I stopped by my carrier today thinking about upgrading my phone. I'm an iPhone guy, and I'm going to be an iPhone guy, and all of you Samsung people or whatever, just leave that for another day. I want to know, at some point, we're going to talk about what the best carrier to go with is, especially if you're upgrading to the iPhone 17, which I'm planning on doing. I currently have a 12. I feel like what? Everybody said, what? A 12? What are you, in the dark ages?
Do you play Farmtown on it?
I can't. Erica has a 10, so meh. So we're upgrading, and I'm going to the 17 Pro, and I waited for it to come out, and I want to know if I should switch carriers or not. I want to know which the best carrier is. We'll do that after we talk with Michael Lotfi. It is 1 minute after the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It is time for the news.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. And right now in Nashville, Metro Police are asking if anyone saw something suspicious after the murder of a 74-year-old woman in her North Nashville home. Police say Harriet Edwards was found dead Monday in her home on Chateau Valley Court. She had been strangled and beaten. Detectives believe the murder happened Friday afternoon between 2:30 and 7:30. If you saw anything unusual on Chateau Valley Court or Chateau Valley Drive during that time frame, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers at 615-742-7463, and you can remain anonymous and may be eligible for a cash reward. Election 2026, Memphis State Rep Justin Pearson says he's running for Congress.
I will fight for affordable housing for everybody. Yeah. I will fight to make sure one job is enough and that we raise the minimum wage.
Pearson challenging longtime incumbent Steve Cohen in the Democratic primary for Tennessee's 9th Congressional District, and that includes most of Memphis. An arrest for the Palisades fire near Los Angeles. Police say 29-year-old Jonathan Rinderknecht was arrested in Florida. Police say he used to live in Southern California. The U.S. attorney there says 29-year-old Rinderknecht was working as an Uber driver when he set a fire in the Pacific Palisades neighborhood. The January fire destroyed nearly 8,000 structures and 12 people died. Former FBI Director James Comey has pleaded not guilty in a courtroom in Alexandria, Virginia today. Comey indicted on charges of lying to a Senate committee in 2020. And while we're on politics, listen to what Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker said today about President Trump's threats to arrest him and other Democrats for pushing back on National Guard troop deployment.
He's demented, literally, unhinged. And this is somebody who's so insecure that he lashes out pretending that he can come arrest people for no reason at all. He can't. He isn't going to do it. Taco. Trump always chickens out.
Texas National Guard troops are deployed to the Broadview ICE facility there in Chicago, where tensions between protesters and federal agents have turned violent. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. At Metro Center, the right shoulder blocked by a crash, 65 northbound Rosa Parks Boulevard, and in Antioch, right lane blocked, 24 eastbound near Harding Place. West Nashville, a crash on the left shoulder, 40 westbound. That's going to be near 46th Avenue, 51st Avenue, exit 205. I'm Ken Weaver.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. What's going on, everybody? Matt Murphy and the Matt Murphy Radio Show. It is 8 minutes after the hour. What happened to my volume over here? You're messing with my mind over there. Oh, you turned him on. Michael Lotfi and I are already going after it. We're already breaking down this political race and the only way that we know how, which is yelling at one another about the outcomes. We're going to have a good time this hour as we try to, do a little bit of a post-mortem, if you will, on the 7th Congressional District primary race, and then set up what ought to be a spirited contest coming up in December. To do that, we welcome back to the program our good friend, Michael Lotfi of with Americans for Prosperity. What's going on, man?
Not much, Gary. What about you? Oh, I mean...
So,
Matt,
you know what he's. Wait, hold on, you just be quiet with everybody. Ken, do you know what he's doing, right? Lotfi knows that Gary Humble of the Tennessee Stands organization, who I don't think has any candidate in the state of Tennessee that had the active support of Gary Humble ever won a race.
not a single one that I'm aware of. No,
right?
Not a single one.
And I made that comment last night. And the Gary Humbleites came out of the woodwork to come after me, but it is a fact. I'm not trying to kick a man while he's down. But Gary Humble is everything that Gary Humble touches in Tennessee politics dies. That is what I'm telling you. Everything that Gary Humble touches in Tennessee politics dies, and there's a reason for that. If you're willing to listen to it, most Gary Humbleites aren't, and that's fine. That's okay. Stick with me for a little while, and hopefully you get some education, one way or the other. So Lotfi comes in here, and he says to me, what? Do you want to go ahead and tell everybody what you said?
It's not a secret, Matt. Everybody knows it. Once you cut your hair off, from the side profile, you look just like Gary Humble.
Would you look up...
Pull a picture, Ken, Jackson, both of you. Pull a picture. I mean, if you wore eyeliner right now, no one would know the difference. I swear on my unborn child, which, by the way, we're pregnant again.
This is unfortunate.
Breaking news. We are. Thank you very much.
That's wonderful. How many is this?
This will be number 2.
Okay.
If you put eyeliner on, I mean, you can't tell the difference.
Matt, this is unfortunate for you.
It's true, right?
He's a good-looking fellow.
Gary Humble is a good-looking fellow.
Thank you very much, Lotfi. You're trying to repair this awful news.
No, he's a good-looking cat.
It's not new. I've had several people at events that have told me, "Oh my God, I thought you were Gary Humble. I'm so glad you're not Gary Humble." That's what they say. Gary, if you're listening, I'm just telling you what they say to me. They're like, "I'm so glad
either
you're not Gary
way."
Humble.
Let's get back on topic, Gary.
It's so nasty. This is mean.
I love you.
But no, I don't think Gary. I mean, again, I think Gary's running for office,
state senate. Yeah, he'll go. When he loses this one, it'll be 8 for 8. He's lost, I guess. When he loses in August.
Well, but wait a minute, doesn't he? He reminds us every political session, every time there's a political race, he reminds us that if the people of the state of Tennessee were just a little bit smarter, they would vote the way that he tells them to.
It's funny because he's literally calling them stupid. His own,
he does.
The people he wants to be his constituents, he does. Calls them stupid. So, but either way,
So what did you make of last night's election?
Man, landslide, right? Like Landslide.
Even if I were to be a cynic and a nasty, I try not to be. I try to encourage people to run, right? Yeah. I want more people in political races. I think we need more grassroots individuals coming out of the woodwork and ascending to places of political positions of power. That said, even if I cut off the bottom 4 or 5 candidates, nobody knows who Adolfo is. Nobody ever saw the man. I mean, in a 6 or 7 person special election race, for you to get over 50% of the votes, it's a landslide.
Yeah, well, and I want to be clear. You talked about the grassroots, and that's why Matt Van Epps won. Obviously, look, let's be clear, right? If you looked at the early vote numbers, a lot of narratives out there, right? Early vote numbers were pre-Trump endorsement. They were pre-anybody dropping out of the race and endorsing Van Epps. So all the numbers that were from early voting were the numbers that Matt got on his own without Trump grassroots. He's one of the only candidates that actually really had a strong grassroots infrastructure that really of the top tier at least, right? That had a strong grassroots infrastructure in all the counties, went to every event in every county that he could get to. And really did the hard work and didn't just, throw up the ads on TV and in the mailbox.
I mean, I feel like, I like Jody.
Jody had some grassroots as well.
Yeah, Jody did his best
for sure.
to get to these counties, and he was kind of working.
Yes, I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that as well. But I
think that's why I finished second.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Jody had a strong race. At the end of the day, I think. And where we did see the bigger separation, right? Like it's been between Jody and Matt Van Epps for probably at least 6 weeks now, and everyone's known that. It hasn't been a secret. And so I think a lot of these candidates were looking for the opportunity to jump out of this race and say, we support Matt, because Trump endorsed, and so we're going to do whatever the president wants. But a lot of them were looking for an excuse to jump out of the race because they knew they were going to finish in poor positions. But Jody and Matt have been the two front runners for quite some time now. And you did see, right, once Trump endorsed, you did see a much bigger swing from early vote from where Jody and Matt were to how it ended up on election night from the momentum from the Trump endorsement.
And in the interest of disclosure, I said yesterday, and I know you daily listeners remember this, and I want to make sure that you don't think I'm moving away from it. I said yesterday I thought the Trump endorsement was a little too late to have a tremendous impact. Yeah. But I think it had an impact on election. I mean, looking at the early voting numbers versus election day numbers, there was a tick up that is noticeable for
well, they were really smart about using the time that they had wisely, right? So they had Trump do a teletown hall. They made sure they were sending out as many text messages as they could and doing a lot of telecommunications because you couldn't get a piece of mail in the box, right? You didn't have time to get a piece of mail in the box. You didn't really have time to get new ads up on TV or digital advertising. And so they did a really great job at making sure they sent out a ton of text messages and promoting teletown halls. They literally, I got a phone call. I got a phone call at 5:30 of the night while I was on the phone with somebody else, and it was Matt Van Epps' campaign teletown halling me in without me even prompting to do so. So they were really smart about how they used the time that they did have. And I'll tell you, I was at the polls last night around, I think I got there about 5:30, and I'm telling you, Matt, at least 60% of the people that walked out were I voted for Matt Van Epps. Thanks to Matt Van Epps. And I was like, oh, this is over. This isn't going to be close. So,
What do you think? Outside of Trump, I don't know that Bill Lee's endorsement, maybe it had an impact, maybe it didn't. I mean, what qualities about Van Epps? Was it just getting on the ground, being at these events, shaking hands, talking to people directly?
A lot of people wanted to underestimate I think the Mark Green support, they wanted to underestimate that. And I think I understand why some people wanted to underestimate that. And even myself, I thought, endorsements don't really mean much. There's really only one big endorsement that really matters a lot, which is Trump's. Mm-hmm. But I think what a lot of people failed to realize, and one thing that I was always, really comfortable with Matt is we had several candidates in the race that I really liked, right? And, we didn't get involved, AFP didn't get involved in the race because we liked a lot of these candidates. And so the situation with Matt was, and where we were comfortable with Matt was knowing who his team was. Matt has a great team. He's got Lee Beeman and Julie Hanna and Alex Joyner. And I've known these people for years. And so knowing that he had that really great team and he inherited the infrastructure from Congressman Green, no one else had that infrastructure, and you just don't have the time to build it, you know? And the further thing is too, Matt, is also special election, man. If you hire the wrong team, you don't have time to recover from that, right? And so Matt was really smart and strategic about who he hired.
So sometimes when we do this for a living, like you do with AFP, like I do with Super Talk, I think we get so close to the forest, right? The old saying.
Yeah.
And I felt like, and I was wrong, that Mark Green's endorsement would not potentially have the impact for his voters because of some of Mark Green's issues.
Right.
And I'm not here to get into those. They are personal issues, and I'm not here to do that. And I'm not going to do that. I mean, but I think I was guilty of thinking that everyone was aware. And I don't think that a lot of people were aware. I think they took it on face value that Green was leaving because his time for public service was done. He had an opportunity that he could not pass up. There are some other factors involved in his decision that I think impacted my mindset when it came to his endorsement that I don't think ever reached the voters.
I don't know, Matt. I think you have to consider the fact, right, that this is a special election, so it's really only the most informed voters that show up.
Maybe,
right?
I mean,
and so I think what happened is, and I think what often happens is that, look, at the end of the day, people loved the congressman that was Mark Green and how Mark Green voted and what he represented in representing the military, et cetera, and they knew that they could trust him on those issues. And a lot of times people do like to separate the personal lives of who their representatives are from what they actually do in Congress and how they represent them in Congress. And I think people knew that they could trust Mark's word when it came to Matt Van Epps and Matt Van Epps' own resume. And again, the team that Matt Van Epps hired, they knew they could trust those people. And so, sure, people want to throw around what Mark did in his, his personal life, but at the end of the day, people oftentimes separate those things with their congressman.
I said yesterday, and you kind of alluded to it, that I know that it sells newspapers to make some guy a bad guy and another guy the good guy, and and when I say sells newspapers, I mean it gets listeners to the radio, it gets people interested in these types of soap opera-esque conversations and drama. But I saw a lot of good guys. I mean, honestly, I would pick one above another, but I think Gino Bolso is a good guy. I think Lee Reeves is a good guy. I think Jody Barrett is a good guy. And I disagree with Jody on a lot of things. But as I said yesterday, I appreciate the fact that Jody Barrett's willing to come in, sit down, and we can hash out those disagreements and let the audience decide where they fall on any given political issue. I thought you had a lot of good people in this race.
Of the four top candidates, every single one of those guys is their hearts are in the right place.
I agree. I agree.
And we may disagree with, their tactics and, what they did and how they did this or whatever, but I can confidently say that I know all four of those guys, and all of their hearts are definitely in the right place. So, yes, we did have a lot of good guys running. I think they all would have done an equally decent job at representing us in Congress. And so at the end of the day, though, with Matt Van Epps, I will say, over someone like a Jody, perhaps, right? Like, we do have to be concerned with this general election. Currently, I believe this is correct. You might need to fact check me on this. I think we're 2 or 3 for 11 in special elections right now. Republicans are. We are losing special elections all across the country. And
well, I want to talk to you about that. We've got a short break today, but I want to talk to you about the closeness. I mean, and you can say 5,000 votes is 5,000 votes, and that's all well and good. But in this 7th congressional district, there are certain things that are setting up when this election is on the calendar, the assurity that so many people, I think, falsely have that it's going to be a Republican seat. We'll talk about that with Michael Lotfy in just a moment. It's 20 after the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'll tell you what, there's only one computer company that I will recommend to you, friends, and it's Alpha and Omega. I've sat down with Michael and talked to Michael about how he runs his business and how he assists you in running yours. He assists small, medium, and large-sized businesses in every aspect of your business by helping you with your IT, with helping you with your computers, with handling all of your computer issues, everything that goes into setting up a server system, setting up an email system, setting up your computers and your printers, and making sure that you are cyber secure when it comes to your network. It is so important nowadays. 70% of cyber attacks target small to medium-sized businesses. 14 ransomware attacks are successful on a daily basis. Friends, you got to do something to protect yourself. If you're in small or medium-sized business and your IT contract is up, do yourself a favor and contact Michael and his team at Alpha and Omega. 615-784-0096, 615-784-0096, or ANO.net. That's A&O.net.
A killer is on the run, and it's got a Nashville neighborhood on edge. We'll let you hear about that at 4:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
What's up, guys? It's the Matt Murphy Radio Show. Getting to news coming up in just a moment. I asked my co-host, and I think it was the one and only. There were plenty of forums, but I think maybe there was one other debate, but I don't recall it. A lot of forums in the 7th Congressional District, but I think we had the only formal debate-style setting with the top 4 candidates on stage out at the Cabaret. Michael Lotfy was my co-moderator. moderator in that event. And we had a great time with AFP and Super Talk 99.7 WTN, and I hope you guys listened and watched and all of those things. But we're kind of breaking down the aftermath of this thing. I want to we can continue to talk about how Matt Van Epps will do as a congressperson, but I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. Afton Bain wins the special election on the Democrat side in the primary. It was a tight race for them. 4 candidates. I think Afton won eventually by like 1,000 votes or so.
Yeah.
She had somewhere in the neighborhood of 8,000-ish. The other candidates were in the 7s. I total up those votes, and I see about 5,000 less than the total numbers on the Republican side, and that concerns me a little bit.
Yeah,
Lotfi.
well, it concerns me too, and that's why, Matt, I'm so thankful. And a lot of this stuff is in hindsight, right? But like, I am very thankful that Matt Van Epps actually did win last night, because he can truly be a consensus candidate. I think if Jody had won, you would have a really hard time getting some people to go and vote for Jody. I think there was an intra-state representative war going on in Williamson County, where the voters in Williamson County are very split over Reeves and Bolso, and so what I love about Matt winning this race is that he can be that consensus candidate that everybody can get behind and go and vote for. But you're absolutely right. This district is supposed to be a well over plus 10 Republican district, and 5,000 votes is not. It's a little concerning when you consider the fact that, first and foremost, we did just have a very contentious primary, and we've got to hope that everybody will come to the table. I did see that Barrett had already endorsed, or maybe not fully endorsed, but signals that he's going to support Matt Van Epps, and I know that Reeves has already done so as well. But the concern that I have is like the schedule of this election. Like, early voting literally is scheduled to happen during Thanksgiving.
Well, and the election is the week following Thanksgiving, right?
Right.
I mean, I think I have that right.
It's the 2nd of December.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're literally. I mean, so the concern is this, and I expressed this. I don't know if I did it on air or with someone else. That you're voting the Tuesday after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I live in Cheatham County in the 7th Congressional District. Everybody that I know is a Trump supporter. Mm-hmm. I feel like we've got this in the bag. I'm going to visit Mama on them.
Right.
And I'm like, there's no reason for me to go to the polls. Van Epps has got this. I would support him if I went there, but there's no reason to do that. And then you come home, and Wednesday morning, Afton Bain wins by 1,000 votes.
Well, and you've got to also consider the fact that Afton is the new generation for the Democrats. I mean, Bo Mitchell, poor Bo Mitchell. I mean, he's represented. He's from Dixon. He's represented parts of this district for decades, and he came in 3rd place. That's how irrelevant the quote unquote establishment Democrats are now, and so they've totally lost control of their party. And the Afton Bains and Justin Joneses of the world have completely taken control over their party, and this election result's a perfect example of that. And so, yeah, they're going to get really excited about Afton. They're going to get super excited about her. They're going to be really, fired up to go vote for somebody like that. And I think there's equal excitement around Matt, but to your point is like, do we take it for granted? And hopefully we don't. And hopefully, I expect to see Trump be very vocal about this race. I expect the RNC to hopefully take it very seriously. I was talking to a friend who was actually talking with the new RNC chairman earlier, and the new RNC chairman had brought it up. So I know it's on their radar. I think that's going to be taken seriously. I hope it is. I hope it's taken seriously by every single voter here in the 7th district. Like, we cannot lose this race. We do not have the margins to fool around.
Right. No, well, I mean, and if you look at the numbers, if you look at the quag that's going on in Washington, D.C. right now, I mean, obviously it's on the Senate side, the results of the shutdown, but the quag exists in part because of the razor-thin margins in the House of Representatives, and this would clearly dramatically affect that if it were to float blue. We'll continue with Michael Lotfi coming up in just a moment. Right now, it's the bottom of the hour. It's exactly 4:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
4:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. We've got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. Metro Police are investigating a homicide in North Nashville. 74-year-old Harriet Edwards had been strangled and beaten. Channel 4 says it has neighbors on edge, and they're sad for her family.
Anytime that you're dealing with death, it's difficult. But under these circumstances, it makes it even more so. And just want, if they're listening or whatever, know that there's shoulders that they can lean on. There's compassion, and just want them to know never to forget that there is still, a keeper who's watching over them.
Detectives believe the murder happened Friday afternoon between 2:30 and 7:30, and they ask anyone who may have been in the Chateau Valley area then to call Crime Stoppers. You can remain anonymous. You may be eligible for a cash reward. An arrest for the Palisades fire in California that destroyed 8,000 structures and killed 12 people. 29-year-old Jonathan Rendernecht was arrested in Florida. But authorities say he used to live in Southern California and worked as an Uber driver.
This is New Year's Eve, so it was around midnight, and he went up to this hilltop. And at some point up there, around 12 a.m., he ignited a fire.
No official motive yet, but prosecutors say Rendernecht had created an AI image of people running from a fire and had listened to a rap song about fire before allegedly setting off that New Year's Day blaze. After Dolly Parton's sister posted a message on Facebook asking for prayers for her sister, the music legend herself posted a video on X saying she's okay.
I know lately everybody thinks that I am sicker than I am. Do I look sick to you? I'm working hard here. Anyway, I wanted to put everybody's mind at ease, those of you that seem to be real concerned, which I appreciate.
79-year-old recently announced she was delaying her Las Vegas residency from December to next fall after she said she would be undergoing some medical procedures and needed to be near Vanderbilt. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Woodbine, police reporting an injury crash blocking the 3 right lanes of 24 eastbound at I-440. A crash on the right shoulder there at Metro Center, 65 northbound Rosa Parks Boulevard. In West Nashville, the crash there on the left shoulder, 40 westbound near 46th and 51st. And in Berry Hill, an injury crash, 440 westbound before 65. In Antioch, a crash police say is blocking the right lane, 24 eastbound near Harding Place. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hey, friends, it's Matt Murphy, and I want to talk to you about the Glock story. You know, it's already October. Man, I mean, it's the 8th of October. We're over a weekend. Time flies, and before you know it, the holidays will be here. If you need help planning a party for your company or even for yourself, for your family and friends, why not throw the party that everyone will be talking about for years to come? I'm not kidding, folks. This is great. Holiday event at the Glock store. They have a party room that can host almost any size party from 10 to 100. It comes with a dedicated shooting room and rooms depending on the party size with personal professional firearms instructors. So you could expand it from 1 room to 2 or more. Don't forget to ask about the full auto option when you have this party. Now, this is a party that you will remember, that every one of your guests will remember. All you have to do is call the Glock store retail showroom at 615-682-6565. That's an easy number to remember. I'll give it to you again. 682-6565. And ask to speak to the retail manager or stop by and check it out. She will help you plan the perfect party, including catering if you need it. You really should make your party plans now, and they are going to fill up. They do every year. The perfect party plan at the Glock store, minutes away from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere. Glockstore.com. That's Glockstore.com. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Matt Murphy and the Matt Murphy Radio Show, joined by Michael Lotfi. By the way, no Cameron Smith today. Cameron is off for fall break. He's spending some time with family and friends. I spent a little time with family and friends last week, so we don't begrudge Cameron for that. He'll be back next week. But we got Michael Lotfi in from Americans for Prosperity, just breaking down the 7th Congressional District race. Van Epps, 52 or so percent, obviously. An incredible victory in a very crowded and frankly, a very good field. And it says a lot about his ground structure that he managed to get this. And as you pointed out, it was decided before Trump.
Oh, yeah.
Endorsed.
So my understanding is that this race had already really started to shape up right around the time, and God rest his soul, but the Charlie Kirk assassination happened. Because my understanding is now, and I've heard this from several different sources as well, so it seems to be legitimate. I can't hear myself.
Oh, no. You in there? No, we can hear you.
You can hear me? Okay.
I can hear you fine. Oh, no, you can jiggle it. You might have bumped it over there.
Yeah. Anyways. Oh, there I am. Sorry. But...
Now we're just messing with you. You call me Gary Humble one more time, you see what you get.
It's my understanding that that they had seen really strong polling numbers for Van Epps. The race was running away from him for him. Jody was still in it. Everybody else had completely fallen off by then, and that they were planning to endorse. And then the Charlie Kirk thing happened, assassination happened, and they put it on hold. And so,
that makes more sense to me.
It just didn't get back around to his desk until it got back around to his desk.
It makes more sense to me because I questioned yesterday why it took so long if he was going to endorse, because it felt like the impact would be lessened the later and later it got.
Right, and that's I don't take that as gospel. I've heard that from several different sources, some that are pretty close to the White House. So I don't know, but that's what I've heard, and that does seem to make a lot more sense to me as well. Look, my number one message to the voters right now is look, the Republican voters listening to this conversation, you may not love Matt Van Epps. That's okay, because no one's perfect. If you want a perfect candidate, you better run yourself, right?
Right.
We can't let this intra-party squabble turn into a divorce. We've got to get to the polls, come together, love on Matt Van Epps. He needs it. We all need it. He's got a great team. He's going to do great, and he needs our support.
I'm always sad to use this turn of phrase because the first time I heard this turn of phrase, it was Barack Obama that said it, and I feel like I have to give credit. But let's not make the perfect the enemy of the good.
Right, yeah.
And I understand, and I kind of got into it a little bit on social media last night. Not really into it, but I was trying to have a conversation with people that were being very emotional last evening because their candidate had just lost, whether their candidate was Gino Bolso or Mason Foley or Stuart Parks or Jody Barrett or whoever it was. And I was trying to convince them that, hey, these are all good candidates, and Van Epps is a good candidate.
He is. He's an amazing candidate.
And he was an amazing candidate. And, oh, by the way, he's an amazing caller, too. He's on the line right now.
There we go.
Matt Van Epps is joining us on the program, the big winner. Congratulations.
Matt Van Epps.
Yeah, there you go, buddy. How are you doing?
Gentlemen. Hey, Matt. Hey, Michael. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on here for just a minute. What a great team win. Just incredible. I'm so grateful for the president's endorsement and then just the resounding win. And it's the coalition of folks that we built and getting out to all 14 counties and trying to build the biggest team possible. And I'm just so grateful for the outpouring of support for the voters and for those that have trusted in us and in our campaign. And now it's all about bringing everybody together. And I've had calls with most all of the opponents and just thank them for what they've done, and they congratulated me, and I just appreciate that so much. And now it's about pulling all of us together so that we can go win resoundingly on December 2nd.
Well, there's no question about that. I want to ask you one question looking back, and then I want to look forward to the race that is to come. But, obviously your call to service and your decision to serve your country in the United States military meant a lot to a lot of people, including myself and to a lot of our listeners on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. But I don't think that in and of itself gets you the victory that you saw last night at 52% in a very, very crowded field. What do you feel like as you traveled these 14 counties, as you spoke to people directly at these forums, as you talked on platforms like this? What do you think about your message? The Van Epps team message resonated most with the voters that voted for you yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, as an America First conservative and going to support the president and the speaker, I mean, I think we took that message, but the background also in special operations, small business, state government, still serving in the National Guard, and just wanting to build a broad coalition based on our leadership and the boots on the ground leadership and just trying, really saying that it's not about me, it's about all of us. And this mission is so critical and we need everybody. And we built a very broad coalition. I think it ended up being over 40 local endorsements from county mayor to highway superintendent, meeting with chambers of commerce and farm bureau, and trying to be out in as many places as possible to listen, and then take that message back and build that into our platform so that we can represent folks across our entire district. And I'm just so proud of the team and all of the folks that have supported us and voted for us. And now we're asking for everybody to come together and be on this team with us together.
We're talking with Matt Van Epps, big victor last night in the 7th Congressional District primary, and on to the general election. I've made the statement, and Michael and I were just talking about it, Matt, that these vote totals on the Democrat and Republican side are too close for me. 5,000 vote margin, and my fear is not that the 7th is not a red congressional district. I believe that it is. My fear is there will be a sense of complacency, a feeling that, well, Matt Van Epps has this in the bag. We don't need to worry about it. It's the week after Thanksgiving. I was going to go and vote, but I'm off visiting family. I'll just, I'll let the vote totals come in and I don't need to worry about it. That level of complacency could lead to very bad things December 2nd.
I absolutely agree. Listen, the Democrats are going to throw a whole lot at this. It's going to be the only race going in the country. They're going to try to put as many resources and effort into this, and we have got to go and win this and win it in resoundingly for the president, for the president's agenda, as the tone setter for 2026. So we need everybody. We've got to get everybody out. I totally agree. Those numbers are way too close, and we can take nothing for granted. And we want to build a broad coalition, and our team is going to be fighting hard every single day. We just got off a call, a strategy call, and we're putting things into motion already. And we're going to go out there and fight to earn more trust and more voters, because we have to do it. It is going to be a fight, and we need everybody. And I ask for everybody's support and vote in this as well.
Well, Matt, we certainly appreciate you spending a few moments with us. I know it's an incredibly busy day. What was last night like for you? And I imagine today has been pretty crazy as well.
I've got to comment, Matt. I've just got to say something, man. Like it's been since 2018 that I last worked directly on a congressional race. Okay, I was there last night with Matt Van Epps' team. And I know this sounds silly, but I live for this stuff. When I got home, I could not sleep. I mean, you can ask my wife. I was so jazzed up just by seeing. I mean, Matt had probably 300-400 people there last night, maybe even more than that. I mean, the room was packed. You couldn't walk. And just everyone was so excited and thrilled and inspired. And I was right up front of the stage watching Matt give his speech. And what struck me the most is that this is a guy who can really inspire people. Like, I mean, I just seeing everyone in the room, like Matt said, there was a huge coalition of different people there, and it was just so inspiring. And I was so excited. I left so excited for your team, for Julie Hanna, for Lee Beeman, for Alex, for you, for your wife. And I don't get that feeling very often anymore. And I just want to thank you for the atmosphere that you created and the type of candidate that you've been that has created that type of cohesive atmosphere that only a true leader can really create. So I'm sorry, I just had to jump in there and tell you that because I've just really enjoyed being with y'all last night. And to me, like, that just speaks bounds to where we're going to go with you as our next congressman. So, but go ahead and answer Matt's question. I'm sorry I interjected. I had to, and I know we're limited on time, and it's not about me, it's about you, but I just had to say it.
thank you for saying that. I'm just humbled by that. Thank you for being there. Thank you for your support. I'm so grateful for that. And it was an electric crowd. It was a broad coalition, and I think folks were really happy and excited, and I'm just so proud of that team and to be a part of that. And my wife was so happy, and for her to be there with me was incredible. And I'm just so grateful for all of it, and that's what we're going to take forward. We're going to bring this coalition, and we're going to build onto it, and we're going to bring that same energy and fight to December 2nd. And I just appreciate it, Michael and Matt. I appreciate you gentlemen so much as well.
Well, I mean, obviously we're going to have plenty of time to talk about this, but I don't think the differences could be more stark between Matt Van Epps and Afton Bain. And we'll get an opportunity to compare the two candidates in real time as we move forward to December 2nd. We look forward to great conversations to come, Matt. Thank you for spending a little time with us on a very, very busy day for you.
Absolutely. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it a lot.
There's I almost called him Congressman. Soon to be Congressman.
Soon enough.
There's Matt Van Epps, who just won the Republican primary and will face Democrat Afton Bain. Look, I think if you compare resumes and the people say, I understand there are some.
Matt, you can't compare resumes. There's no comparison.
Well, I mean,
there's really no comparison here, right? I mean, you've got a
God-fearing American.
A God-fearing American warrior. I mean,
and the cutest little communist in Tennessee on the other side.
You shouldn't have given. You should get. I mean, she'll probably put that on a T-shirt.
No, that's what she said.
She said that she owns it. Okay, well, there you go.
So I sat down with her. She wouldn't come on the show, and she wanted to come on with us. And so she said, "I want to talk to you off air before we go on air."
Okay.
I'd had her on before.
Yeah.
And I told her, I said, I've been referring to you as the cutest little communist in Tennessee.
She loved
just
it,
in the
didn't
intro. She said, she said
she's going to put it on a T-shirt.
Have we had this conversation?
No, we haven't.
That's exactly what she said.
Well,
she
I
said,
just know her well enough to know that
she said, I'm putting it on a T-shirt.
Yeah,
I absolutely love that. I'm sure she does.
I'm sure she does. Well, look, like I was saying before Matt called in was, look, no candidate is perfect. There is no such thing as a solution. There are only trade-offs. And at the end of the day, the trade-off that some people, it's a very easy one for me. I'm not even thinking twice about this, but there are some folks out there in the Republican Party who feel jilted, who want to have sour grapes, et cetera. Guys, this isn't even a question. I mean, I put a check in the mail for Matt Van Epps on the way over here, literally. Like, this is not a question. There's no question about it.
I am fascinated with and I think it's a relatively small faction of political people who have decided that if their guy doesn't win, or gal, but if their guy in this case does not win, that the Van Epps, Van Epps was endorsed by Trump, who is beloved.
Who all these people say,
right?
Whatever Trump says goes, right?
And I'm hearing from some of those folks who say that Matt Van Epps is a rhino establishment. One, I don't think he's I don't know how he can be establishment when he's never
been elected. Yeah,
but and look, I was not I was Switzerland in this race. I would be congratulating Jody Barrett today had Jody Barrett won. I'd be congratulating Gino Bolso today had Gino Bolso won. I think those two would serve very admirably. The one thing that I keep hearing, and I have not found any evidence of this, but I keep hearing that they wanted to label him Tennessee's Fauci, right? Mm-hmm. That he had. I have not seen, and I understand he was in the Lee administration. I understand that he was a part of implementing policies, but I have not found a shred of evidence that he was the policy decision maker on anything that happened during COVID.
First and foremost, President Trump is the one who started that process, right?
Yeah.
And so, second, Tennessee was one of the what? Gary Humble himself, many of these people who are saying these things about Van Epps are the literal ones who moved to Tennessee during COVID because we were a free state. So thank you, Matt Van Epps. Right? Like, initially, sure, the state shut down, but we were one of the fastest states to reopen. But one of the absolute fastest, and that's why people moved here during COVID. I've got a full-time staffer that came from Illinois who lives here because of Tennessee being a free state. So sure, everything shut down for a while, but then many states stayed shut down. Many states still have policies. Hell, the federal government is shut down right now because Democrats want to continue COVID subsidies to insurance companies. Matt Van Epps is literally part of the reason why we had our government, our state, reopened so quickly. So thank you, Matt.
Well, I just don't see what the concern is.
I don't either.
I can't
it doesn't
find
make any sense.
But I understand that everyone was frustrated during that period in time where every state in the United States of America had shut down.
Every single state.
Every single state.
Yeah.
I lived in Alabama during the time,
Yeah.
and I remember that most of Alabama, and I believe that Tennessee was the same way. Most of Alabama, like Tennessee, opened back up, but some of the bigger metros, primarily Montgomery and Birmingham in Alabama, and I'm sure Nashville and Memphis were the same way, they didn't open up, and it pissed a lot of people off, and you had a lot of back and forth about freedom and the ability of freedom of movement and all of these types of things. So I think memory's an interesting thing on this, and I think we're getting memory hold on it. Well, one way or the other, Matt Van Epps is your candidate, and you get to choose whether you go to the polls or not. And when you go to the polls, you get to choose between an avowed communist and a guy that served his country in the military.
Who's endorsed by President Trump, endorsed by President or Governor Lee, endorsed by dozens of conservative lawmakers, and has some of the most conservative people in the state, like Lee Beeman and Julie Hannah Beeman, behind him.
You know, and I agree with one of our texters. I think, a la Chris Matthews, I'm feeling that a tingle went up your leg last night. I feel like, you remember Chris Matthews said that about Obama?
Oh.
They're giving you crap about it. You say I'm coming back.
You're just feeding it back to me. That's fair. You gotta ditch it. You gotta take it.
I'm just thinking to myself, what would Gary say? And so I'm throwing it back at you. No, you did. You sounded like a tingle went up. I mean, you felt a movement.
I did feel a movement, and I couldn't sleep. I was so excited. I literally, I was in and out of sleep. I know this sounds silly, and I'm not being hyperbolic.
You're
or
gushing,
exaggerating.
Okay.
I know, I was, man. I mean, I saw a lot of my friends up there standing, next to Matt Van Epps, and they had just won, and I was proud of my friends. I was proud of Matt. And it was a very exciting atmosphere. And yeah, man, I mean, I couldn't sleep. I was excited for what's coming next, and I know Matt and them their whole team probably hasn't slept yet.
He hasn't slept all night and all day today. And we do appreciate Matt Van Epps giving us a call. And I appreciate you, Lotfi.
We appreciate you,
There's
Gary.
Michael Lotfi with AFP breaking down the 7th Congressional District race. We're going to talk about Donald Trump in Chicago, Portland, and Memphis coming up in a moment. Plus, I've got a question out there about cell phone carriers. We'll do that next on Super Talk. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy for U.S. Pest. What bugs you? Well, I might bug you from time to time. You can't call U.S. Pest on me, but I'll tell you what you can call U.S. Pest on. All of the bugs at your house that are bugging you, that are trying to get into your home, take advantage of your home, they're a little communist, these bugs. They don't want to pay for anything, but they want to share with everything. They want your food. They want the warmth of your home. They want to get into your walls, and they want to, they're just going to take what's yours and make it their own. You don't need this in your life. You need U.S. Pest. U.S. Pest, I can tell you two things about J.K. and Erica Brister. They love the United States of America, and they hate bugs. You'll see an American flag on every billboard in town, and you'll see a hatred of bugs when they come to your home, and they will eliminate them from your life. Whether it's stink bugs or roaches or termites, whatever it might be, there's always a 100% money-back guarantee. Call them today at 590-1260. That's 590-1260, or online at uspest.com, uspest.com.
5 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. And right now in Middle Tennessee and North Nashville neighborhoods on edge as police investigate the brutal murder of a 74-year-old woman found dead in her home on Friday. Channel 4 spoke to a resident there.
It's unnerving. It's unsettling because this is something that just doesn't happen in this particular subdivision.
Harriet Edwards was found inside her home on Chateau Valley Court by a friend who hadn't heard from her in days. The medical examiner says Edwards was strangled and suffered blunt force trauma to the head. Detectives believe that attack happened Friday afternoon between 2:30 and 7:30. And if you were in the Chateau Valley area during that time and you noticed anything out of the ordinary, you're asked to call Nashville Crime Stoppers. You'll remain anonymous and you could be eligible for a cash reward. Election 2025, Republicans in Tennessee rallying around Matt Van Epps, who won the 7th Congressional District Special Primary yesterday, amid concern over low voter turnout. And there's early voting for the general election during Thanksgiving, the actual election day right after it. Here's Van Epps on WTN's Matt Murphy Show.
We need everybody. We've got to get everybody out. I totally agree. Those numbers are way too close, and we can take nothing for granted.
Nashville State Rep Afton Bann won the Democratic primary. Prosecutors in L.A. say 29-year-old Jonathan Rendernecht has been arrested for allegedly starting January's deadly Palisades fire in Southern California. ABC's Alex Stone has more from L.A.
Motive, they say that they feel like they have narrowed in on it. They're not talking about what that motive is right now. But this changes the whole narrative to all of this because it was believed that it may have been children with fireworks on the 1st of January on New Year's Day that accidentally started that fire and then it rekindled. They do believe it was that original fire on New Year's Day that rekindled in the high winds on January 7th. But they allege this 29-year-old that he started that fire, that he had been agitated, he had been motivated, and then created the fire.
Prosecutors say Rendernecht created an AI image of people running from a fire and had listened to a rap song about fire before he allegedly set off that blaze on New Year's Day that smoldered and then rekindled 7 days later. Former FBI Director James Comey has pleaded not guilty to charges he lied to Congress in a 2020 about authorizing the FBI to leak details of the Hillary Clinton email probe to the press. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Woodbine, police reporting an injury crash blocking the 3 right lanes of 24 eastbound right there at 440. And then at the eastern split, police say there's a crash 24 westbound right there at exit 50AB. I'm sorry, that's 52AB. And in Brentwood, injury crash 65 northbound near Old Hickory Boulevard. I'm Ken Weaver.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. What's going on? My name is Matt Murphy, and this is the Matt Murphy Radio Show. Thank you for being around. We're halfway home, a little past halfway home, as a matter of fact, as we've got 8 minutes past 5 o'clock on Super Talk. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you're just getting in your automobile, maybe you're still at your place of business, already home, I appreciate you. If you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, or Rumble, thank you. Hello. We appreciate you watching. If you're listening on 99.7 FM in the automobile, we'll try to get you home safe and sound, tell you where the problem areas are. Ken Weaver's happy to tell you that most of the problems are happening on I-24. All that to say, we appreciate you. 615-737-9986. 615-737-9986 is our telephone number, and we would love to hear from you on any subject of your choosing. 0057 writes in and says, I'm a conservative, but let's talk about what Van Epps is going to do for Tennessee, not what he's going to do for Trump. Well, I mean, I think those things go hand in hand. We have reached a point, and this is a very good point. I'm not a conservative. I'm a libertarian. I do not belong to the Republican Party, so I'm not a part of the club. I would not belong to any club that would have me as a member. That's an old Groucho Marx line that I've taken up as it's almost my life motto at this point. Well, my life motto is go fast, don't die. But the secondary motto is I wouldn't belong to any club that would have me as a member. That said, I understand the sentiment from 0057 that as a conservative, you want to know what's happening right here in our hometown and right here in his home district. But we've reached a point in American politics where it is not a matter of what I consider what you are going to Washington, D.C. to do for me, what you're doing in Washington, D.C. to bring things home from D.C. I don't want individuals going to Washington, D.C. to do things. I want people going to Washington, D.C. to undo things. There is far too much impact in our daily lives from Washington, D.C. right now. And as a small government libertarian, I want to see most government decisions made on the local and state levels. And by most, I mean over 90%. The founding fathers believed that the only things that the federal government should be involved in would be those things that the states necessarily could not or would not have the ability to do. National defense, a unified currency, these types of things. Treaties with other nations, border security. These are roles and responsibilities of the federal government. Unfortunately, the federal government has slowly taken away from the 10th Amendment to the Constitution of the United States and taken away from the role of the states. A lot of this occurred when the 17th Amendment happened. Hey, Jackson, real quick, you want to give us a a real quick 17th Amendment treatment? I'm just kidding. I'm messing with you. I want to engage with you. You know what the 17th Amendment is? 16th was the income tax. If my memory's serving me correctly, 18th was prohibition. 21st was repeal of prohibition. The 17th Amendment of the Constitution of the United States changed the way that we elect the United States Senate. And previous to the 17th Amendment of the Constitution, state legislatures selected our United States senators. So the General Assembly, after being elected by, obviously, the people of the state, would gather and they would select 2 individuals to serve as our state senators from Tennessee. And by that very nature, the state senators who then would become, or the state representatives who would then become United States senators, would go to Washington, and their central purpose would be to do what? To serve the state. And they would act in service to the state. The concept being that the House of Representatives, we have 2 branches of the Congress, right? The House and the Senate. The House of Representatives was the body for the people. The Senate was designed to be the body representing the states. And when we turned the opportunity for the state legislatures to select senators over to the people, those senators eventually came to realize that their reelection and their importance and their focus would be to bring things back from Washington, D.C. to the individual states, as opposed to representing the states. Right now, Kazakhstan has more representation in Washington, D.C. than Tennessee. Because by the nature of how we elect our senators now, they're bringing something home from the federal government as opposed to bringing something to Washington, D.C. in the form of representing our state and defending the 10th Amendment of the Constitution. I'll tell you, if I could repeal any constitutional amendment, I would probably start with the 16th Amendment, which would be income tax, and I would roll over to a fair tax system, which would be a consumption-based tax. That would be number 1. Number 2 would be the 17th Amendment of the Constitution. I believe that we should return our Senate selection back to the states, which would in turn shrink the size, scope, and importance of the federal government. All of these monies that are being spent on the federal level and routing back to the states, most of them come from the states, go to Washington, D.C., and come right back to the states. A lot of this money is just made-up money. It is free money. One of the reasons that we are in the debt that we're in is because of direct election of senators. So all of that to say, if you believe in more conservative government, if you believe in a more libertarian form of government, then you naturally you don't believe necessarily that someone should go to Washington, D.C. to do things. I want representatives going to Washington, D.C. to undo things. To say, you know what? We don't believe that the Department of Education has fulfilled its charter upon its creation in the 1970s. And as a result, we're going to return those duties back to the states. We don't believe that the Federal Emergency Management Agency has done anything other than facilitate giving free money to states impacted by natural disaster. And we don't believe that FEMA in and of itself creates a dynamic by which we see any remedy coming to the individual states any quicker, any more effectively, outside of the red tape that is created when FEMA comes on board and the free money that comes with them. Everybody's so afraid to touch third rails like FEMA because they're afraid of losing the free money. And even conservative voters and conservative-minded people are addicted to some aspect of that free federal money. And I'm here to tell you, I support politicians that say, you know what? I want to go to Washington to undo these things, not to build more infrastructure in D.C., more burdensome debt in Washington, D.C., more rules, more regulations that our founding fathers never intended to come from centralized government to begin with. So when you say to me, what is Van Epps going to do for Tennessee? What I hope that he does is return the rights of the people of the state of Tennessee to determine their own fate when it comes to things like education or emergency management and many of the other rights that seem to have been seized by the federal government in the interest of equality. Equality. Obviously, there are certain things that states cannot do because those things would go against the fabric of the Constitution. But outside of that, the states themselves are 50 separate experiments and should be treated that way. And I would like to see more people elected that believed in that. I'll say one more note on this, and then I'll get to your phone calls. My commentary about the United States Senate and the senators that serve, no reflection on our current representation. I think that Haggerty and Blackburn are good-hearted people. I believe that they have the interest of the citizens of the state of Tennessee in their hearts when they serve in Washington, D.C. But I also believe that they, like the other senators with them, are creatures of the environment that they're in. And sadly, they are conditioned, and I'm not trying to wag my finger at these two. All of them are conditioned to look for answers on the federal level when we ought to be looking for answers at the state level. Does that make sense to everyone? The federal government is not the solution to every issue that we have, nor should it be, nor was it designed to be. Government serves best when it serves only when absolutely necessary. That is a freedom-minded approach to what we're doing here. That is an individual, liberty-minded approach. Mike is next up. Hello, Mike.
Hey, Matt.
How you?
Pretty good. And you just said now that you're not conservative, you're not a Republican, you're a libertarian.
Well, you listen every day, Mike. You should have known this by now.
I do. You have a great show, and I love it.
Thank you.
And I just wish many more people would listen. But you and I had this little conflict about, Constitution and everything else. You just said that you think the states ought to run everything and not the federal government. And what I am going to ask you
not what I said. Not what I said.
Well, okay. Well,
I did not say the states should run everything.
Then let me give you a question.
Okay.
Would you listen? Antifa now is running Portland, Oregon, and we've had that problem up there a long time. What if Antifa gets elected into their state legislature, their city councils, these terrorists, and then they elect a governor, Antifa? Okay, so now you have the state of Oregon now run by Antifa. Do you think that's a good thing?
Have the people of Oregon have elected them?
Elected Antifa.
Right, so you're asking me if I think that's a good thing. So I'll answer the question that you asked. You said, do I think that's a good thing? My answer is no. I don't think that's a good thing.
Okay. Now that Antifa is doing world.
Can I ask you a question, Mike? Can I ask you a question before we go to the next? You understand that asking me whether it's a good thing is a different question than asking me whether it's a legal thing.
Well, what I'm asking you is that as a libertarian, do you believe that Antifa has the right to elect people in that state of Oregon and now even Illinois.
Are they legal voters? Are they legal voters? Are they legal voters?
Well, then it doesn't matter.
No, it does. Well, it most certainly does. I mean, come on, Mike. Mike, you and I are just trying to have a conversation. So you're asking me. So regardless of affiliation, regardless of political beliefs, sadly we have set up a system by which if a bunch of socialists decide to elect a socialist, let's say, I mean, look, I'm going to choose a ridiculous scenario here, Mike, but I'm going to choose it on purpose, right? A ridiculous scenario, right? Let's say that the biggest city in the United States of America has an avowed socialist running for mayor. I mean, this would never happen, Mike. I mean, come on. But let's say, New York City has this socialist that's running for mayor, and a bunch of people support it. What would we do about that, Mike?
Well, according to the libertarians, if Mondami wins, you'd have to support it because it's states' right.
No, we don't.
The federal government.
You see, you're using loaded language when you say we have to support it. I don't have to support a damn thing. I don't have to support one thing that my government does, but I have to respect its legality. Those are two different things.
But what you just said, though, is you're a libertarian, and you don't think the federal government should be involved in any of this stuff. And what I'm just saying is that when Mondami gets elected or Portland burns their cities down, that's states' right.
Well, no. I mean, there is something called the Insurrection Act, and the Insurrection Act is a valuable tool that the federal government can utilize when there is obvious insurrection going on and civil disorder going on. The federal government has the responsibility if we find that there's armed rebellion or there's suppression of civil order or rights in given communities. The federal government can then step in if the local or state governments either choose not to do so or they are unable to do so. I mean, we have mechanisms in this country by which the federal government can intervene, but those should be used sparingly and only as a last resort.
So what's going on then in Portland, we don't need to send in National Guard at all because let the Portland police, who are not going to arrest anybody, and then we got this Governor Pritzker up there in Chicago and Illinois, and then we're going to have Mondami, who is against the police, wants to defund. What do you think the federal government is supposed to do then? They're going to have to go in.
The federal. You know what is your suggestion, Mike? That the federal government should just take over all of these cities?
No. What I'm suggesting is
should the federal government usurp the ability for the local people to elect a mayor of their choosing? Of course they should.
The insurrection is coming from the blue mayors and governors of these cities and states.
Okay.
That's where the insurrection
So the remedy here, and I'm trying to answer questions, and you're using loaded language, and I appreciate the telephone call, and I'm trying to be reasonable with you, Mike, but the answer is in the court system. If the governor of Illinois or the mayor of Chicago do something that is against the fabric of the basic civil rights of the citizens of their cities, you can use the court system, or by contrast, you can use the Insurrection Act. You can also utilize the National Guard if so deemed proper by the governors of the given states, as we've done in the state of Tennessee with Memphis. But what you cannot do, and what I would be against, would be usurping the authority of the local citizens to select a representation of their choosing on a city council or in a mayor's office. More on that in a moment. Your calls, 615-737-9986. Love hearing from all of you. 615-737-9986. It's The Murphy Show on Super Talk. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy. It can be hard to find someone that you trust when it comes to large home repairs, including heating and cooling. But I found that person. It's Jeff Eddy and Efficient Heating and Cooling. I trusted Jeff Eddy and his crew to do what's right the first time, and they proved it time and time and time again. If you're trying to make a decision as to whether to repair or replace that heater, call Jeff Eddy. Let him come out and examine the thing. Give it a maintenance check. Less than $125 in most cases, never more than $125 in any case at a residence. And he will let you know what he thinks about that, and you can trust that he's giving you the real dope, the real skinny. Jeff Eddy's Efficient Heating and Cooling, they are the best value around in the state of Tennessee, and you get what you pay for. You get great value, you get great quality technicians, and they're going to give you the right they're going to make the right call on your heating unit. And, folks, I encourage you to get the maintenance done on that heater. Also, if it's time, they're an Elite Pro partner with Rheem. EfficientHVAC.net. That's EfficientHVAC.net, or call 615-784-4424.
.30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. And right now in Middle Tennessee, Metro Nashville police investigating the murder of a 74-year-old woman found dead inside her North Nashville home. Police say Harriet Edwards was discovered Monday morning by a longtime friend who hadn't heard from her in several days. She'd been strangled and beaten. Channel 4 says the neighborhood's on edge.
I know that it happens all over and that nobody is really safe, but it's just something we're not accustomed to.
And detectives believe that murder happened between 2:30 and 7:30 Friday afternoon. And if you were in the Chateau Valley Court or Chateau Valley Drive area Friday afternoon and saw anything unusual, you are urged to call Nashville Crime Stoppers. Election 2025, Republicans are rallying around Matt Van Epps, who won the 7th Congressional District special primary election. But there's concern over low voter turnout lingering into the general election. Here's Van Epps on WTN's Matt Murphy Show.
We're putting things into motion already, and we're going to go out there and fight to earn more trust and more voters, and it because we have to do it. it is going to be a fight, and we need everybody.
Nashville State Rep Afton Ben won the Democratic primary and emphasized that the only way to win the general election is by mobilizing younger voters. Early voting for the general election begins November 12th. It ends November 26th, and Election Day is Tuesday, December 2nd. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. A new study reveals a specific type, lobular carcinoma, has doubled since 1975.
The study shows lobular breast cancer now impacts 1 in 10 women diagnosed. ABC News chief medical correspondent Dr. Tara Narula says this type of cancer is more difficult to see on mammograms.
Why? Because it grows differently. It tends to not form a lump, but grows more in lines or sheets.
The increase may be due in part to changes in risk factors like obesity and lifestyle, but Dr. Narula says these cancers are also hormonally sensitive.
All of this chronic, long-term, longer exposure to hormones may be fueling some of these lobular cancers.
As always, it is important to know your family history, get regular exams, and recognize any changes. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Woodbine police say there's an injury crash 24 eastbound at I-440. Antioch, a crash 24 eastbound before Harding Place. In Brentwood, injury crash 65 northbound near Old Hickory Boulevard South. In Berry Hill, a crash 65 southbound after I-440. Eastern Split, a crash 24 westbound there at exit 52AB. Hermitage, an accident, Lebanon Pike and Old Hickory Boulevard East. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy for Grace Point Healthcare. Affordable, convenient, and comprehensive medicine delivered the old-fashioned way. Friends, I want to tell you about the basic Smart Care plan. We talk about this quite a bit as a direct pay primary care provider. Every treatment that you get at Grace Point is a decision made between you and your doctor. Never will they allow insurance companies to get into the way of your decision-making process with your medical professional. Now, you can obviously file with your insurance for reimbursement after the fact, but the bottom line is this. These decisions should be made between you and your doc, and they always are at Grace Point Healthcare. And with that in mind, the basic Smart Care plan, which gets you unlimited office visits monthly, are at $99 a month for adults, $79 a month for children. You can sign up for the family plan and receive a 10% off discount for each additional family member after the first additional enrollee. In other words, the entire family can be served at Grace Point Healthcare. And frankly, what I hear more than anything is that it is less expensive at the end of the day than many, many other places. And you know what the prices are right up front. Plus, they do sports physicals for $99. It's that time of year. And if you're traveling internationally, they'll do a travel visit for you for $150. Grace Point Healthcare, complete health care at your convenience. 599-6868, 599-6868. Modern medicine delivered the old-fashioned way. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It's the Matt Murphy Radio Show. Thank you for being with us 38 minutes after the hour. I try to respond to as many of you on the Super Text lines as I possibly can. I apologize if I miss getting to you. But I thank each and every one of you for commenting on the Super Text line, 615-737-9986. Once again, I consider us one big happy family, maybe not so happy in some cases. Because I know I annoy some of you, but that's all right. That's all well and good. By the way, several of you on the Super Text line, I bring this up because several of you have noted that, I failed to mention the 19th Amendment to repeal. And, all I'll say is that the country sure has gone to hell since the 19th Amendment became a thing. I don't know if it's just coincidence or not, but you know what the 19th Amendment is there,
I think so.
Jackson?
Yeah.
Oh, you'll take the calls. I won't. All I'm saying is when women got the right to vote, everything went to hell in a handbasket. I'm not saying what's the old phrase about causation? Causation doesn't equal. I'm kidding. Kind of. I'm kind of kidding. I'm kidding a little. I'm not kidding about the timing. I am kidding about I wouldn't repeal it. I wouldn't deny you an opportunity to cast your ballot in a very emotional way. Hey, it's time for Nincompoops in the News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Let's hit the music.
Nincompoops in the News.
I don't think Jackson knew what the 19th Amendment was, y'all. Do you? I don't think he really did.
I didn't.
Yeah, it's the everything went to hell in a handbasket when that thing got passed there, Ken Weaver.
I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole.
Come on, Ken. What is the phrase I was trying to think of? I can't get it in my mind. Y'all help me out. Causation equals... I can't. Somebody will get it for me. I'm not suggest causation doesn't equal equal. I can't even remember it. Let's do Nincompoops in the News.
Yes,
somebody on the Super Text line will help me out on that. It's 20 till the top of the hour. Time to get away from the real news and get to the Nincompoops all over this great country, all over the world, throughout the state of Tennessee and beyond. We find Nincompoops on a day-to-day basis. Ken Weaver delivers one. Matt Murphy delivers one. Jackson Williams delivers one. And you get to vote on who you think the biggest Nincompoop of the day might be. I think I was close yesterday, Jackson.
Ken Weaver won.
Well, are you kidding me?
Did I?
Buddy, I have been here like 12 hours at this point. I have no idea who won. Just going to be honest with you. No idea.
Correlation does not equal causation. Thank you, Andy and Adam and everybody else. Thank you.
Yes,
correlation.
Yes,
There's
sir.
a correlation between these United States of America going to hell in a handbasket and women getting the right to vote. But that doesn't mean that the cause of America going to hell in a handbasket was that women got the right to vote. That's what we're saying on this show. That's our official position.
No, it's not.
Oh, so you do think that women caused America to go to hell in a handbasket? I was saying the opposite.
Okay, whatever you said.
We need to get to our stories.
Jackson. Let me tell you, kid. Jackson came in here a minute ago. Jackson's tired. Y'all don't know this. Jackson's working double duty. He's working the morning show over on the sports station, and then he stays here and he works our show in the afternoons. He's here from 5 a.m. to 7 p.m. all week.
Brother, I'm out of gas. The truck is on the side of the road, and we are calling AAA.
Them tires is flat.
Well, and Brother Jackson, you're canceling yourself out. At one moment, you're saying, yeah, it is. Then you're going, no, it's not.
Huh? I'm just delusional.
Hey, Ken, a minute ago, he came in and he was looking bad, and I asked him if he wanted to put his head on my shoulder, and I was playing around. You know what he did?
Put his head on your shoulder.
He put his head on my shoulder.
Brother Jackson's tired.
I patted him on the little head like, it'll be okay, little buddy. And then I felt like, I'll make him feel better. And I said, it's going to be okay. You're on the downhill slide. You only got 2 more days to go when you're done with today, and then you can enjoy watching Tennessee barely eke out a victory against those Razorbacks. And I thought, that was good, right? Got nothing from him. Nothing.
Is that game over there in Fayetteville?
It's in Neyland Stadium.
You're all right.
Mm-hmm. Y'all will win by, I don't know, you'll probably win that game by 4 or 5 points.
Didn't they fire their coach?
They did.
Yeah, y'all are fine.
Oh, but you know who's coming to town?
Who?
Bobby Petrino.
Oh, really?
Oh, Petrino's back, baby.
I hope he brings the motorcycle.
I knew he was the offensive coordinator, but now I guess they put him up there at interim head coach.
Oh, yeah. He wants that gig back again there, Ken Weaver, and he's going to look for a big-time upset at Neyland Stadium this Saturday to put that on the old resume. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be that'd be a highlight, that's for sure.
I'll tell you what, he's pretty good at Arkansas last time around, except for the fact that he couldn't keep his hands off the interns. Anyway, Jackson, I'll tell you what, in the spirit of camaraderie and fellowship, and if Ken has no problem with it, I think you should go first.
I have no problem with Brother Jackson.
I appreciate the pity, boys. All right. Florida man with thermos inserted in body caught
biscuit
caught sneaking it into Polk County Jail. Quote from the officer, put it up the exit ramp.
What? Wait. Start over again. I was laughing at the fact that you clearly stole Ken's story.
Son of a biscuit eater.
That's what you get for being nice, Weaver.
I'm not ever doing it again.
I don't blame you.
Florida man with thermos inserted into body caught sneaking it into Polk County Jail. Quote from officer, put it up the exit ramp.
Did you say Polk County Jail?
Polk, P-O-L-K, like James K. Polk.
Oh, I thought you said poke, as in poke it up the old...
He was in the pokey. A Florida man who is no stranger to the law wound up back in jail and the subject of one of Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd's most unusual morning briefings due to how he tried to smuggle a thermos inside the jail.
Hey, fellas, where the hell's my coffee?
The backstory, Judd said the ordeal began with a complaint about a naked man at a park. We got a call that he was naked inside of a restroom at a public park, so we asked, is he naked or buck naked? You can be naked and still have your socks on, but if you're buck naked, you are completely naked, Judd
I'm missing
explained.
my soup.
When a deputy arrived, he said Walter Freimeyer had all of his clothes on, so the deputy escorted him out of the park. The deputy explained to Freimeyer that he wasn't going to be arrested even though people saw him without any clothes on because he was giving him a break. Judd said Freimeyer then crossed the street, hopped up on the railroad train track, and trespassed again, so the deputy arrested him. Freimeyer had 25 prior arrests and had been to state prison 5 times. The sheriff explained that all arrestees are put through a body scanner to make sure they aren't trying to bring guns and knives and drugs into the jail. Judd said Freimeyer bought a thermos into the jail. That's right, he put it up the exit ramp. You know what I mean, the sheriff said with a knowing look in his eyes. Judd said, we said, dude, what are you doing here? He said, well, I put that inside my body. He didn't swallow it 24 hours earlier. Judd said the deputy likely saved his life, even though Freimeyer threatened to kill the deputy for arresting him. We had to take him to the hospital. They had to find a specialist. It was quite the ordeal, but he is thermosless in the county jail today.
How in the world
I mean,
did he get that up there?
Ken, have you seen this x-ray?
Yes.
It's all the way in there.
Yes.
Like, this is in his ribs at this point.
I don't just... Okay.
It's a big thermos.
I believe you.
Are we sure this isn't a fake story?
This is real news, Ken. Fox 13 in Florida.
Yeah, I've got it too. I've got the same one.
I had a friend, and I have not done the research to investigate where this book came from, but I had a friend who had a book about this where they collected, you've heard stories over the years about doctors in emergency rooms with people coming in that, and 1,000,000 to 1 shot, doc.
Yeah.
1,000,000 to 1 shot. And they collected those x-rays, and it was a kind of a coffee table book with those x-rays. And the things that wind up in the strangest places, guns.
Well,
guns are not long and skinny. Guns have a bend to them. They have a handle.
Well,
this is a thick thermos.
Remember the fella that I dubbed Butt Lightyear? Had a Buzz Lightyear doll up there.
He had a
How'd he get him?
That's what I'm saying, man.
Thing went to infinity and beyond.
I was about to say, it gives new meaning to infinity and beyond.
Do you think he just sat on it by accident?
What, this thermos?
1,000,000 to 1 shot, Doc. 1,000,000 to 1 shot.
Well, I would think he'd have to sit on it.
I tripped and fell on a thermos.
That's right.
I have no idea how he's still alive.
So
yeah, it's poking organs.
You're the ass man. It's a great episode.
I wonder what surgery like.
I wonder what was in it.
I mean, you just pull it out from whence it came.
No.
Well, they'd have to.
I mean, that's the way you do it.
No, I think
Jackson.
you do like a surgical extraction where you cut open where it is.
Yeah, they probably did that.
I mean, or you just let nature take its course.
I don't think nature.
I think nature is irreparable damage.
Okay. I think I'm done with this conversation. I don't want to have anything else to do with thinking about this.
Man.
All right, I'll go next since Ken's probably searching.
Here we go. You're going to have my other one, I guarantee it.
An Alabama sheriff is under fire after a Halloween display depicting an ice raid popped up on his front lawn. But his Cuban wife insists.
Ken's about to swear.
Was that your number?
No, it's not. I'm just cracking up.
No, this is good. I want at some point you're going to have to pull my video up because I want to show you the picture of this thing. I'll tell you when. So, because I got to read the story. The spooky setup outside of the Mobile County Sheriff's house, Paul Birch. It's his home. It shows. This is funny. This is hilarious. It shows 3 skeletons in immigration and customs enforcement shirts and hats chasing 2 skeletons decked out in sombreros and Mexicans serapas, ponchos, as they attempt to scramble over his front fence. The display has sparked outrage on social media after a neighbor shared the photo of the Republican elected official's gated home, blasting him for, quote, parading racism in his front yard. It's hard to put into words how disappointing it is to see our elected sheriff use his own front yard to mock and dehumanize a group of people, said neighbor Whitney Newman. She's the nincompoop, by the way. I don't think it's cute or funny or anything. And coming from a law enforcement official, it makes it especially and exponentially worse. She cited a quote from Birch on the law enforcement agency's Facebook page, assuring all residents, quote, deserve to live in a safe community without fear. This crosses a line, she said, from a tasteless joke into a public statement about who deserves dignity. I just wish our sheriff would practice what he preaches instead of parading racism in his front yard. To this Whitney lady, I would say, lighten up, Karen. This is a joke, and it's pretty damn funny. And here, I mean, can you see? Hold on, I want to make it as big as possible.
Dude, I got to tell you about something.
I can't make it any bigger than that. I don't know. Can you see that, Jackson? You got that up?
Yeah, it's up.
There's. You see them there? They're 2 fellas. Here's another one. They're trying to get over the fence there. And the ice is, they're all skeletons. And look at the poor fella. He's stuck. His little poncho is stuck on the fence. My official nincompoop is Miss Whitney, who has a problem with this. This is hilarious. The sheriff's Cuban wife says that she was responsible for putting up the Halloween decorations, and they have now been taken down, and she is going to put up different decorations, and she did not intend to offend anyone in the community. So there you go. Ken Weaver, are there any stories left?
Well, I have one here out of Harris County, Georgia.
All right.
Naked escaped inmate arrested. An escaped inmate was arrested Monday after walking away from a work site and later being found naked. Deputies said the inmate, who was assigned to the Harris County Prison, walked away from a work detail near the Idle Hour boat ramp in Fortson around 2:26 in the afternoon. Deputies and Georgia State Patrol troopers responded to the area. Officials alerted nearby schools, issued a code red alert for residents near the work site. About 20 minutes later, someone flagged down a deputy to report a naked man attempting to stop cars on Lick Skillet Road. The deputy found the man and confirmed he was the escaped inmate, and he was naked. The inmate was arrested, clothed, and put back behind bars.
Huh. Well, did he have a thermos?
Jackson.
If he didn't have a thermos, I think the thermos story wins. I don't.
Oh, the thermos story, absolutely.
I don't know. Y'all
I appreciate the pity, Ken.
Y'all look at these skeletons trying to climb this fence at the sheriff's office in Mobile County now.
Did you see that?
ICE is getting on them. They're pretty funny.
Did you see the video that Trump put out where he's sitting behind the desk? And it's from behind Hakeem Jeffries.
Mm-hmm.
And Trump's kind of laughing, and he grabs a MAGA hat, and he throws it, and it lands right on Hakeem's head.
I have seen
And Hakeem puts up the
touchdown. On the heels
I'm assuming
of,
that's AI.
Oh, yeah.
This is on the heels of them coming out with the Hakeem and Chuck Schumer in the
I'm telling you, man. That
in the on the sombrero with the sombreros. Everybody gets so mad. Y'all calm down. These are just jokes. Don't be so mad. 53 after the hour. That's how we play Nincompoops in the News on Super Talk 99.7 WGN. You can vote Jackson. Thermos Boy. You can vote for Ken Weaver out of pity for having his story stolen, or you can vote for Matt Murphy and the Sombrero Skeletons. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. The funny part about the Thermos story is what Y2J named the show today. Yeah, that's true. If you don't know, go to YouTube TV and you can find out. The name of the show is actually from me, not from you. And I didn't know anything about the Thermos story. That's how we play it. Vote early, vote often. Back in a moment on Super Talk. Several of our listeners, Jackson, want to know if the thermos was from Uranus, Missouri.
It was in. Never mind.
I think that speaks for itself. And I'll separate that comment from what I'm about to tell you regarding Cover Nash, because I wouldn't want Shane Ring involved in any of this discussion. Shane Ring wants to be involved in all of your discussions when it comes to your health insurance. A lot of folks want to talk about health insurance this time of year. Shane talks about health insurance all the year long. He is your local concierge, your go-to expert when it comes to health insurance questions and needs. Friends, I don't know a lot about health insurance. It's very confusing. I know Shane Ring, and I trust Shane. He sat down with me and has made the complex simple. Even I can understand it. Shane Ring and Cover Nash do not work for any particular insurance company. They shop the entire marketplace and find the ones that are right for you. And sometimes folks have different needs when it comes to their health insurance. What about a PPO plan that allows you to choose your doctor nationwide and you have a $250 deductible? It's possible with Shane and Cover Nash. Plus, flat copays after the deductible outpatient surgery for just $250 in copay as well. Ask Shane about this plan when you make the call that so many others have made. To Cover Nash. Protect yourself. Get the best and most out of your insurance with Cover Nash. 615-465-0023. 465-0023 or online at covernash.com. Have y'all been down to Nashville Safe House? I mean, they're right on 4th Avenue South, right? I've been plenty. Got to go again. And, oh, by the way, when you stop by, ask Mark and his team about the Matt Murphy special, okay? There is a Matt Murphy special going on, and I don't get specials very often. In fact, when I get specials, it's pretty special. So when you walk through the showroom doors and you get into the lobby and you talk to the good people of Nashville Safe House, or you walk through the maze of safes, there's like 200 safes on the showroom floor. They have another 200 plus in the warehouse. They have the right safe for you of all shapes and sizes. Ask them about the Matt Murphy special. I would love for you to do that. They have all a manner of brand names like Browning, like Liberty, like Fort Knox, Rhino. They've got them at Nashville Safe House. They've got biometrics. They've got tornado shelters. They've got something for you. As a matter of fact, the first time I was ever in Nashville Safe House, I got a salesperson inside a safe. I tried to shut the door on her, but Mark would not let me do so because he said that you would run out of air fairly quickly, and that would not be a good thing. Mark is a good man like that, not me so much. I want viewers. Anyway, bottom line is this. They've got big safes. That's a big safe that a human being can get inside. Gun safes are always sales tax free at Nashville Safe House. Ask about the incredible rebates and the Matt Murphy special when you stop by online at NashvilleSafeHouse.com. That's NashvilleSafeHouse.com. Or on the road, 4th Avenue South, right across the street from City Cemetery in Nashville.
Six o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. And President Trump just now posting to Truth Social, I am very proud to announce that Israel and Hamas have both signed off on the first phase of our peace plan. This means that all of the hostages will be released very soon, and Israel will withdraw their troops to an agreed-upon line as the first steps toward a strong, durable, and everlasting peace. The president goes on to say all parties will be treated fairly. This is a great day for the Arab and Muslim world, Israel, all surrounding nations, and the United States of America. And we thank the mediators from Qatar, Egypt, and Turkey who worked with us to make this historic and unprecedented event happen. Then in all caps, President Trump ends it. Blessed are the peacemakers. We also understand that the president was considering traveling to the Middle East for signing a peace deal. Metro Police investigating the murder of a 74-year-old woman in North Nashville. Police say Harriet Edwards found dead Monday in her home on Chateau Valley Court. She had been strangled and beaten. Detectives believe the murder happened Friday afternoon between 2:30 and 7:30. And if you saw anything unusual and you were in that area, call Crime Stoppers. Then you can remain anonymous and may be eligible for a reward. Election 2025 in Tennessee. Republicans concerned low voter turnout in the 7th Congressional District, a special primary election could linger into the general election. This is Deputy Director of Americans for Prosperity, Tennessee, Michael Lotfi, on WTN's Matt Murphy Show.
This district is supposed to be a well over plus 10 Republican district. And, 5,000 votes is not... It's a little concerning.
President Trump endorsed Matt Van Epps. He's up against Nashville. President endorsed Matt Van Epps is up against Nashville Democrat State Rep Afton Ben. Ben emphasizing mobilizing more young voters as the only way to win the general election in the 7th. Early voting for the general election starts November 12th. It ends November 26th. That'll run through Thanksgiving. Election Day is right after Thanksgiving, December 2nd. And election 2026, Memphis State Rep Justin Pearson says he's running for Congress.
I will fight for affordable housing for everybody. I will fight to make sure one job is enough and that we raise the minimum wage.
Pearson challenging longtime incumbent Steve Cohen in the Democratic primary for Tennessee's 9th congressional district, which includes most of Memphis. An arrest for the Palisades fire near L.A. Police say 29-year-old Jonathan Rendernecht was arrested in Florida, but police say he used to live in Southern California. U.S. Attorney Bill Asaley says 29-year-old Jonathan Rendernecht was working as an Uber driver when he set a fire in the Pacific Palisades neighborhood. The January Palisades fire destroyed nearly 8,000 structures. 12 people died. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Injury crash 24 eastbound at I-440 and Antioch 24 eastbound before Harding Place. Eastern Split a crash 24 westbound there at exit 52A and B. In Brentwood, injury crash 65 northbound near Old Hickory Boulevard South. There's another crash 65 southbound after I-440. And a crash in Laverne, Waldron Road right next to I-24. I'm Ken Weaver.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It is 7 after 6. Thank you for being with us. One more hour to go. We'll call it an evening and lots to get into, not the least of which the breaking news happening this hour regarding the possibility of a peace deal being reached between Israel and Hamas. We'll talk about that as we begin the final hour of the radio show. on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. You can obviously join us on the Talk Television side of things. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Rumble. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Rumble. Just if you go over there and do that, give us the old thumbs up, like, subscribe, etc., etc. Do us a favor and do that, and we would greatly appreciate it. Always appreciate your commentary on social media platforms, at Matt Murphy Show. I'm over there on the X machine quite often. It is a cesspool. It is an awful place full of awful people saying awful things, and I love it. At Matt Murphy Show is where you can find me. Like me, follow me, and all of that. Secondarily, we love it on the Super Text line, 615-737-9986, where it is my duty. So are we in agreement, gentlemen, that all of the if I'm getting thermos jokes, would we count that as a vote for Jackson? I feel like thermos jokes are going to count as a vote for you, Jackson.
Yeah.
I think that's correct. Well, and if that's, I mean, I think you won besides all of the jokes, but with the jokes piled on top, it was an absolute runaway.
Kind of like the 7th Congressional District.
Oh, yeah. You're like the Matt Van Epps of Nincompoops in the News today. Congratulations. Lovely. Or Afton Bain, if you'd prefer. I mean, that's fine. That's fine. Several have noted that they find it interesting that you did that thermos story on the heels of me visiting Uranus. I've been there. I've seen it. Needs to be wiped out completely. Gents, as a retired LEO married to a retired surgical nurse, I can assure you that we both have seen many crazy things up the off-ramp.
Does he mention any of them?
He does not. He does
Going
not.
northbound in the southbound lane?
Mm-hmm. Nice. That's the old, I'm going to get exit only, a little exit only sign. Yeah. I've heard that one too. So congratulations on your big-time thermos victory on Super Talk 99.7.
Gummit, I'm never being nice to Brother Jackson ever again.
Because you had the story, kid.
I had the story. I was locked and loaded.
Ready to go.
Win.
Going to win. Would have been Ken Weaver's victory. And Ken Weaver has won far more of these nincompoops in the news than any of us. But he was nice because Jackson was tired. Jackson played the I'm sleepy card.
Well, I like Brother Jackson.
Well, you know what, Ken?
I'm very fond of Brother Jackson.
You know what, Ken? That makes one of us. It does.
Okay.
It does. It makes one of us. Maybe two, but he's still on a trial period with me. Speaking of something that's very tenuous, like Jackson and I's relationship, Israel and Hamas have agreed to a first phase of a peace plan to pause fighting and release some of the hostages and prisoners. That, according to our United States President, Donald J. Trump. This means that all of the hostages will be released very soon, and Israel will withdraw their troops to an agreed-upon line as the first steps toward strong, durable, and lasting peace. All parties will be treated fairly. All right, so this story is breaking. United States President Donald Trump said earlier today that he's considering a trip to the Middle East within a matter of days, a show of optimism as top officials from the United States and Qatar traveled to an Egyptian resort for the third day of ongoing negotiations to end the Israel-Hamas war. Another hint of a deal came in later in the event that U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio passed Trump a note on White House stationery that read, "You need to approve a Truth Social post soon so you can announce the deal." So apparently he passed him a note, and then Donald Trump immediately approved that Truth Social post, and that post went up, saying all of the hostages released very soon. Israel will withdraw their troops to an agreed-upon line. So that's very good news for those who desire peace, or at least a temporary peace, in the Middle Eastern conflict. Yesterday marked the 2-year anniversary of the horrific attacks that Hamas engaged upon on the Jewish people and the state of Israel. I'm fascinated, and I've not talked about this much. I'm genuinely fascinated with the level of anger that so many Americans seem to have regarding Israel. I understand why some, and I share this sentiment, by the way. I understand why many are frustrated with the amount of money and munitions that we see going from the United States of America to the state of Israel when we have so many issues on our own. Obviously, we've got problems of our own. And an attitude of America first should, well, put America first. I'm on record as saying that until we get our financial books in order, we need to stop aid to all countries, unless and until it is demonstrated that that aid is 100% necessary in order to ensure the future of that said nation. And even then, I don't know that I would agree to continue with the foreign aid. America should not be, sadly we are, but America should not be the world's piggy bank. But we've become that in many ways. And you can understand why that is. I mean, we're the guy with the fattest wallet on the block and have been for a long time. And some of these nations come with their hat in their hand and they say, oh, we won't exist if you don't help us. We need help. We're trying to lift ourselves out of this, but we just need a little hand up. None of that, to me, excuses the level of anger that so many people have regarding Israel. Anger, not frustration on our policy positions. Anger at Israel, and I don't understand it. I really don't. Now, I am not, and I also don't slough it off. I don't dismiss it as anti-Semitism. I mean, there are some that do that. I do not do that. I want to learn more. Once again, I support Israel in as much as I support freedom. I understand why some want to see less of our money going to the state of Israel. I even understand why some want to see less Israeli influence in American policy decisions. Those things are legitimate points of discussion. And while we are friends with the state of Israel, while we recognize that they are the only beacon of democracy in the Middle East to speak of, while I recognize, you might not, but I recognize that their very existence depends on their willingness to push back, fight back against the Muslim hordes that would want to destroy them. Not all Muslim nations and not all Muslim people, but enough of them that Israel best be ready to fight the hell back. Otherwise, they would cease to exist. But yesterday was very telling to me in the numbers of people that were willing to take to the streets on the anniversary of a day where over 1,000 people were slaughtered. I found it depressing to watch the numbers of young people, protesters and activists and masked militants clad in those, what do you call them, those, is the black and white checkerboard pattern, the kefkas or I can't pronounce it. Women in hijabs. Yesterday in New York City, did you see what was going on in New York City? Waving the Palestinian flag, calling for the extermination of the Jews, calling for the eradication of the Jewish people, calling, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. What do you think that means? That means the eradication of the Jewish people. I've watched slowly as we see the radicalization of our young people in America to the point where they're screaming things, and I don't think they have any understanding of what they're screaming. There has been a slow but steady allowance for these types of anti-American, anti-Israel, sure, but anti-American protest to happen. And I don't know that there is necessarily anything that we could legally do about it, but in the streets of New York, I watched yesterday as Islamic radicals took to the streets and chanted for death to any and all that opposed them. I'm trying to figure that out. There is no genocide but for October 7th, 2023, if I conceded this to be a genocide at all, and I don't. I'm just desperately trying to understand the perspective of people that seem to hate Israel, not just the policies that the United States of America engages in. I mean, I get that. I get where we might have a disagreement on foreign aid or a disagreement on where America's relationship should begin or end. Or I can even understand why people would have an issue with Benjamin Netanyahu. I do not, for the life of me, get the level of anger that people seem to have over our friendship with Israel. Secondarily, I do not understand what they don't understand about Israel being attacked. And the idea that their very existence has been threatened for decades. That doesn't mean that they're a perfect nation. Far from it. That does not mean that they're a perfect people. Far from it. I just don't understand the hatred, the anger. Genuine question. Maybe David has an answer. Hello, David.
Hey, Matt. How you doing?
I'm great, David. I hope you are.
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Well, as a politically conservative Jewish man, I don't think you'll ever, because I don't think I'll ever, but I don't think any rational person can ever understand the level of hatred that you're referring to. Like you said, I can understand differences of opinion on policy and this, that, and the other, but the level of hatred that you're talking about is a level of hatred that it doesn't make sense. It's defending the indefensible. It's no different than people who defended Stalin or Pol Pot. People will find reasons to make excuses for murderous, genocidal ideologies throughout history. And I just, sadly, I see this as no different. You know, I mean, we don't teach our kids the Constitution anymore. You absolutely don't expect them to know what from the river to the sea means. You know, we've got kids who are barely able to function in American society. So why would they know anything about the slogans that their professors pour into their mush-filled brains?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm more talking about, and not just, I mean, I can understand. I disagree with it, and I think it is born out of hatred, and it's born out of just, I mean, this is truly anti-Semitism when I say that there are factions of Muslims around the world that grow up believing that the Jew is the enemy, right? I get that. Yeah. I get that. That's just rank bigotry. I understand rank bigotry. What I don't understand are the number of younger Americans, primarily, but you know, Americans in their 30s and their 40s as well, that seem to not just have policy disagreements about how we treat Israel, but seem to be they're drawn to this anti-Israel discussion in a way that seems to be very, I mean, it seems to me to be anti-Semitic. I don't want to go there without fully trying to understand it, David.
I think there's a little bit of anti-Semitism to it, but I also think that there's a little bit of an equal amount of you see this wokeism that's in universities. I majored in history. Thankfully, my dad majored in history and was old enough to have gone to school before revisionist history was taught. If you look back, now I lost my train of thought. Oh, I hate it when that happens.
It's all good. No, look, I want collect your thoughts. Call me tomorrow, or we'll continue this conversation. David, I appreciate it. I got to go to a break anyway, but I'm genuinely curious about the thoughts on this. Is it just to me that has noticed that these anti-Israel sentiments seem to be growing, and I'm wondering why they're growing to the point that they're growing now? We have not, as Americans, our country has not substantially changed our approach to Israel in the last several years. Yet since October 7th, 2023, 2 years and 1 day ago, I've watched as there has been a growing push against that relationship. And I'm choosing my words very carefully because I'm not trying to wag fingers at anyone. I'm not putting motivation behind any of this without trying to understand it first. But I've had telephone calls in the last couple of years that I've not had in the previous 23, telling me that the Jews control this and the Jews control that, or Zionist or Israel. I'm fascinated that this is coming about at a time when Israel is fighting, it seems to me, for its very existence. Does that mean that they're right? No, they're not right all the time. The nation's not right all the time. The state of Israel is not right all the time. And they have been put in a next to impossible position based on the enemy that they're fighting. The enemy that they're fighting does not fight fair. The enemy that they're fighting does not seem to care about life. Now, you could argue that they don't either. That's fine. I suppose that you can. But is that not their war to fight? It's not ours. 25 after the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Dr. Mitchell and Dr. Ashley want to see you. They've got a team of qualified medical practitioners that are ready to go, ready to help you alleviate your pain at the Wellness Institute. That's what it's all about. A pain-free life. Where do you hurt? Do you hurt? I mean, if you live long enough, you're going to hurt somewhere. In your back, in your neck, in your hip, in your elbows. For me, it was my neck and my lower back. And my neck pain is gone. Thank you to the spinal decompression found at the Wellness Institute of Nashville because they stretched me out, and that's what I called it, stretching me out and getting hydration and much-needed nutrition and blood flow to the affected area. I thought I had stress pain in my neck. No, it was actually a compression, and the spinal decompression so assisted me. It helps with my lower back as well. Call 615-246-5009. That's 615-246-5009, or go to painisbad.com, painisbad.com. Ask about the Big Daddy Trump special. That is a $12 examination, x-rays if needed, a diagnosis, and your first treatment. $12. That is a way to introduce you to the practices of the Wellness Institute of Nashville. They have my seal of approval, and I know that they will have yours. Call the Wellness Institute today, 615-246-5009. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy for the Tennessee Sleep Apnea and TMJ Solution Center. Let's talk about Dr. Brian McLaughlin for a moment. He's a good family man. He's been a military man, and he is now your favorite guy when it comes to sleeping better at night. He can solve so many of the issues that you might be experiencing. Now, if you're like me and you're not sure, and I was this way back in the day, I was not sure if I had sleep apnea or not. Brian McLaughlin can help assist you in locating a sleep test, finding out whether or not you do, in fact, have sleep apnea. And if that's the case, they have an FDA-approved oral device. It is unlike anything you've ever seen. It is custom fitted to your mouth. It's like a mouth guard or maybe a retainer, but it goes into your mouth. You don't notice it after a night or two. You sleep so much better. It keeps the airway open at night. You breathe throughout the course of the night. You don't stop breathing, meaning you don't wake up in fits and starts. You get a better, more restful night's sleep. Your health improves as a result. And as a big-time bonus, for the most part, you stop snoring. What is that all about? That is fabulous is what that is. Go to TennesseeSleep.com. That's TennesseeSleep.com and find out more for Dr. Brian McLaughlin and the rest of the team. They say thank you if you've already been. And if you've not been, you need to go to the Tennessee Sleep Apnea and TMJ Solution Center. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I had intended to give you a tunnel update. There's not a lot to update except to say that the tunnel project is ongoing in the city of Nashville, and apparently the Elon Musk's boring company has been in conversation with at least 20 different stopping points, or in conversation. I don't know if each of these would be a different or separate conversation, but they are considering 20 separate stopping places. Now, that could be 10 one way and 10 the other way. I don't know. But the tunneling is ongoing. The environmental study is ongoing. Conversations are ongoing. They are ready, willing, and able to talk with Mayor Freddie O'Connell, despite the fact that he's apparently not talked to them yet. I remain very excited about this entire tunnel project. And I know some of you are poo-pooing it. I don't mind. You can poo-poo. Poo-poo! Poo-poo at your leisure. That's fine. I shall not poo-poo. I think it's kind of cool. In the meantime, we're talking about Israel and the reaction to the last 2 years and our relationship with the state of Israel. Gary is next up. Gary, thank you for your call. I'm glad you made it.
Matt, so glad to be talking to you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, wonderful. Matt, one cannot understand anti-Semitism without understanding at least a little bit of the spiritual/supernatural realm. Just bear with me while I kind of go through a couple things with you. I promise I won't be long here. Iran, this is stuff you know already, but just to illustrate, Iran is 80 times the size of Israel, okay? And yet it is obsessed with destroying a nation that, comparatively speaking, is a speck of dust, okay? Jews in 1930s Germany comprised maybe 1% of the population. And they were loyal German citizens. They fought in World War I. And yet Adolf Hitler was obsessed with murdering them. The Soviet Union had a special hatred for two groups of people. Well, more than that, but especially Christians and Jews. Why? Because communism essentially, well, okay, let me just go ahead and say this. The Jewish people have brought the knowledge of the one true God into this world. They are rightfully called the people of the book. I mean, they're the ancestors of Jesus, if I can just come out and say it. Communism expressly denies the existence of God. Okay? Islam expressly denies the validity of the God of the Bible. This is why you see, and we're not, I don't have to tell you this, Matt. I think you know it. We're not dealing with, what we're dealing with in this country is communism. And this is why you see the forces of, call it whatever you want, wokeism, communism, leftism, whatever, pairing up with an ideology that you would think they'd be 180 degrees diametrically opposed to, namely Islam.
And Gary, I understand, and I don't want to get in the way of the point you're making, but I think I fully understand the nature of the hatred that many of these Muslim countries have toward the Jewish people. And I think a lot of it is born in, obviously anti-Semitism, but also just a clash of religion and culture, a clash of faith and belief. And what I don't understand, and maybe I'm just being obtuse, the growing amount of fashionable hatred in the United States of America, particularly amongst younger people.
Matt, it's just what I just described to you. Honestly.
Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah. It's just what I've described to you. The institution, again, I don't have to tell you this. Our institutions of higher learning have been captured by a foreign entity to this country, ideologically. And that's why.
Well, I do understand and I do grasp the idea that in order for communism/socialism to take hold, government has to become God.
Yeah, precisely.
And in order for government to become God, in order to create a dynamic by which people are willing to bow before the altar of government, you have to eliminate open religious faith in our communities, at least if not in legal terms, in the spirit of faith. And I think they're going a long way to doing that in the United States.
Right.
I don't know. I'm fascinated with how so many people seem to have an anger at the Jewish population, not just around the world, but here in the United States of America, for suggesting that we should support the state of Israel, at least in spirit, not even monetarily. I understand why we would want to keep our money here right now, because we have a lot of issues that directly impact the United States of America. What I don't understand is why we would not extend and continue to extend the hand of friendship toward the group of people that all of my lifetime we saw as the peacemakers. And I understand that they are willing to fight when challenged. When they are killed, they have determined that the only answer is to fight back in force. And if you decide to kill 3 of theirs, they're going to kill 6 of yours, or at least go to the heart of those that are doing the killing. But I see one group that wants the killing to stop. And, some will call me naive. I don't, maybe I am. I mean, some anti-State of Israel folks would say, oh, Matt, you're wrong. I see one side that wants to stop the killing and one side that wants to kill more.
Well, let me just say 2 things before I get off the phone, Matt. First, I say this in faith as much as anything else, but I do believe that there is a righteous rebellion that is brewing in this nation, particularly among our young people. Maybe it hasn't reached the young people with regard to the Israel question yet, but I'm trusting that it will. I'm just leaving it like that. But secondly, I don't know if you've brought this up in your show today or not. Have you brought up the resolution that's before the city council tomorrow night?
No, I'm vaguely familiar with it, but I've not brought it up.
Okay. Well, there is a council that's been brought by Councilwoman Ginny Welsh, condemning. I'm driving. I don't have the exact words in front of me, but condemning the United States and Israel for actions that are aiding and abetting the genocide of the Palestinian people. I have written to my council. I've written to the entire council as well as my council member. I know many others have as well, expressing the fact that this will not bring good to our city. I know it's not a legally binding resolution, but it will not bring the justice we all so say we want in this city. I'll just leave it like that.
And to that, I would say that if these individuals were truly wanting the killing to stop, the simple message is to release the hostages, and the killing will stop.
Of course.
I mean, so it goes no further for me than that. I mean, Ginny Welsh is a ghoul. I mean, in my opinion, she just is. I mean, she values non-citizens over the citizens of this community. She values those that would commit acts of atrocity over those that simply want to protect themselves. I mean, I don't know that I could sit down and talk to the woman. And thank you, Gary, for the call. I think you make a lot of sense in a lot of ways. Israel wants the hostages back. That's all. How can we get further than that? That doesn't mean that America needs to be involved in the conflict. It doesn't mean, I'm trying to see those that, you call this a genocide. What was happening on October 6, 2023? There was no genocide going on then. Hamas had political and military control over the Gaza Strip. Period. Tell me I'm wrong. I'm not. So who broke that ceasefire? Can you tell me that? 2805 writes in and says, just because Americans are anti-Israel and anti-genocide does not make them less of an American. I never said that. When did I say that? I've never said that. You still get to be an American, and you can be wrong and be an American. That's fine. You can have ideas that I consider to be misguided, and guess what? I can have ideas that you can consider to be misguided, and we still are both Americans. America is such a beautiful place that we allow for these levels of disagreement without any level of punishment coming your way or my way. We don't shut people up like they do in other nations. I am so sad to see what's happened to Great Britain. In Great Britain, have y'all seen this story? In Great Britain, 3 individuals got arrested, charged, and convicted for condemning an individual that raped, a Muslim person that raped a 14-year-old girl. That Muslim man that raped the girl got 12 months in prison. 12 months in prison. The 3 people that went on social media and condemned the rape, they got 24 months in prison. I'm not making this up. You can look it up. 3 people received more prison time for their words than a Muslim man received for raping a child in Great Britain. That's thought police kind of garbage. That's 1984 kind of garbage. But in America, we believe in a robust exchange of ideas and believe in that so much that you and I can have very, very definitive disagreements about these types of things and still be allowed to express those disagreements. What do you have to say about the peaceful protesters in the right to assemble in Chicago, like the priest who got shot in the head with a pepper ball? Do you think that's right? I don't know I don't know when this happened. If it happened yesterday, I must have missed it this morning. I've not seen the particulars of the story. I'll look it up and I'll find out what I think about it, and I'll share it with you in just a couple of minutes. I would say this, that generally speaking, you have the Constitution grants us the right to peacefully assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. That's in the First Amendment, right? Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or of the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. That doesn't mean that you have the right to stop traffic. That doesn't mean that you have the right to stop commerce. That doesn't mean that you have the right to disrupt my daily life. But you do have the opportunity to peaceably assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances, which would be a protest. At least that's one form of that level of petition or assembly. I agree with these types of things, but when these protests become unruly, or if an agent of law enforcement gives a lawful order for the protesters to disperse for any number of reasons or to move for any number of reasons, and they refuse to do so, obviously those law enforcement agents have to use the means necessary in order to affect that engagement. I don't know what particularly happened in this case, but I'll find out. It's 52 after the hour on Super Talk. They repair European vehicles, and at Eurofix, they believe in warning their customers, too. I'll give you an example. Eurofix wrote one of their customers a refund check of over $5,000. Now, who does that? Who does that? Eurofix does that because they police themselves. They want you to know that you can trust that they are doing the right thing the right way every single time. You know, every auto shop, they don't tell you the full story. Some oversell you, others cut corners, some they just don't know what to do. So you could pay for something that you don't need. Eurofix makes quality repairs at below dealer pricing. Plus, you get a 3-year, 36,000-mile nationwide warranty on the work that they do. And rental cars are available with every appointment. Stay off the tow truck. Get to Eurofix. Family owned and operated for over a quarter century. Eurofix can be found online at myeurofix.com, myeurofix.com, or 844-EUROFIX. Jackson, I got caught eating a snack. Couple of minutes until 7 o'clock. We turn it over to Mark Levin at that time. I'll go have a more robust snack. You got dinner plans there, Jackson?
Bed. Yes.
No eating, just sleeping?
Yes.
You're over halfway done.
Yep.
With the split shift.
Yep.
Swing shift, double duty. 80 hours this week, that's all. That's all. We're just talking for a living. You're not digging ditches. You'll be all right. I think at some point this week you'll prefer digging ditches, probably. All right, a couple of stories that we've not been able to get to. Former FBI Director James Comey pleaded not guilty this morning to federal charges for making a false statement and obstruction. Here's my prediction. Not that I would want this to happen. James Comey is not a stupid person. He's a smug person. I think he is a big-time POS. That's a piece of slime. But James Comey's not dumb. And my analysis of this case, he has covered his tracks enough that I think you'll find one or two people on a jury that will refuse to convict him, and it will be considered a victory on the part of the political left. I would not wish that so, but that's what I'm looking at. Let's find out what happens together. But he, as expected, has pleaded not guilty in that case. In the meantime, the White House looks for a loophole in a law that ensures federal workers get paid after a shutdown. The White House wants these folks to get paid. Here's the best way to get paid. The Democrats need to stop the shutdown. This shutdown is 100% on the Democrats in the House, rather in the Senate. 100% on them. They're using something that has not even expired with regard to health care as a reason to shut the government down now. So they are using people, human beings, as pawns to make a broader political point that should be debated after you pass the CR. And finally, look who's running for the House of Representatives. Our old friend, Representative Justin Pearson out of Memphis, is taking on Steve Cohen to represent the majority black city in 2026. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. Until then, have a great evening, folks. Hug your loved ones. So long, everybody.